Live from Sheridan, Wyoming, Post 22 Baseball is on the air. Today's weekday doubleheader features the Sheridan Troopers taking on your Post 22 Hardhats. Great to be back in the booth, folks, after a nice, relaxing, yet working week off. Mark Benetti alongside you here on ESPN Rapid City, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM. Last week, I had to attend the ECHL League meetings in Las Vegas with the president of the Rapid City Rush, Joe McDonnell. Two of us learned a ton of great things to bring back to the Rush organization and to our community of Rapid City to engage with all of our fans. But now the vacation/work trip is done. It's back to reality, and thank God there's Post 22 baseball to help ease the transition. Post 22 last week went into Omaha at the Creighton Prep Tournament with a fantastic showing, a 3-2 record in 5 matchups. They took on Renner, their East River State rival, and defeated them in a barn burner 14-11, and then followed it up against a Final Four team in the American Legion World Series last year from Bryant, Arkansas. The Hardhats took the win 8-5 against quite a talented group of young individuals. Following that, it was the all-anticipated showdown with Creighton Prep, and the Hardhats coming back from behind took a 5-2 win against the host of the tournament. Unfortunately, ran into 2 losses to end, losing to Hopkins 2-1 to some stellar opposing pitching. And then, as Coach Torvey put it, he was not happy with his team's compete level against the Minot Vistas of North Dakota. The Hardhats lost 8-7 despite a late rally to try and either perpetuate the game or end it in regulation. So again, a 3-2 showing in 5 matchups in the Creighton Prep Tournament. Now the Hardhats turn to a busy week of baseball once again. This daytime doubleheader to begin in just about 10 minutes against the Sheridan Troopers. 2 7-inning matchups, and following that, it's the Firecracker, the 43rd running of the Firecracker Tournament in Rapid City. It's absolutely incredible that tournament's been going on for 43 years, but the Hardhats will have competition coming in from Missoula, Montana, and the Missoula Mavericks, Merced, California, Terre Haute, Indiana, the Premier West Cardinals, Rocky Mountain, and obviously themselves as the hosts of the tournament. Before we go ahead and break down the starting lineups for Game 1 of this doubleheader, let's go ahead and give you at least a little bit of a refresher here on that Firecracker tournament. For the record, the Hardhats are playing every single night game of the tournament, with the only date in which their schedule is TBD being July 4th, which is the championship day of the Firecracker. On Friday night, the Hardhats will take on the Missoula Mavericks. Saturday night, they'll square off against Merced, California, what's probably the most anticipated matchup of the tournament. On Sunday, they'll take on Terre Haute, Indiana. And then on Monday, it's the Premier West Cardinals, and Tuesday, Rocky Mountain, Colorado. If the Hardhats will play for the Firecracker Championship, they'll play at 5 o'clock on July 4th. If it's for consolation and third place, they'll play at 2. And if not, they'll play at 11 in the morning on the 4th of July. A lot of baseball coming up for the Hardhats, and then after that, it's the Gopher Classic. So this is another weekend, another series of weekends in which the Hardhats are playing a ton of baseball. So, like I mentioned, mark your calendars now for this Firecracker tournament and help us celebrate the birth of our country and enjoy competitive baseball. As always, anticipate a great fireworks show on Tuesday, July 3rd. The tournament's free to all season pass holders, and as a special thank you to those that have helped protect and help continue to protect our country. Active duty and retired military are admitted for free as long as they showcase a military identification. So we're looking forward to some great baseball this week, again starting off with the doubleheader today against the Sheridan Troopers. Both of these teams met on June 8th back at Rapid City. The Hardhats took the sweep of the doubleheader, taking a 10-0 win in Game 1, and then running into a tad bit of a stumble, still coming out with the win in Game 2. 9-7 was the final score. Well, let's go ahead and give you the starting lineups for this first matchup of our doubleheader. The Hardhats are looking at a tad bit of a decent lineup here, with a couple of Expos called up. Coach Torvey wants to get some of them a look in the varsity lineup, and who knows, maybe somebody rocks his world and they find themselves on the postseason roster when that has to be submitted next month. Here is the Hardhats lineup. They'll bat in the top halves of our 7 innings of both games in today's doubleheader. Leading off is number 13, Connor King, and he's patrolling center field. Batting second is number 10, Ryan Bachman. He's in the hot corner at third base. Batting third is number 22, Cooper Bowman, who will serve as the designated hitter this afternoon for the Hardhats. And in the cleanup spot is number 23, Jack Sorensen. He's out at first base. Batting fifth is number 28, Holden Jackson, patrolling right field. Batting sixth is number 17, Todd Stevens, he'll serve as the backstopper and catcher. Batting 7th is number 18, Alex Weaver. He's patrolling left field. Batting 8th is number 26, Tyson Elliott. He's out at second base. And rounding out the batting order in the 9th spot for the Hard Hats is number 12, Mason Messenger, and he is out at the shortstop position. On the mound for the Hard Hats is Troy Wilhelm. And Troy Wilhelm is arguably the workhorse of the Expos organization, and it comes in with some stellar pitching statistics. Wilhelm comes into this matchup for his 10th appearance of the season between both the Hard Hats and the Expos. This is his first appearance as a Hard Hat. With the Expos, he made 9 starts. All 9 of his appearances were starts. A perfect 5-0 record, 40 2/3 innings of work under his belt. That is the most by leaps and bounds on that Expos roster. The next closest gentleman is Braden Burris, who has 25 innings pitched. He has an ERA of 2.58 with 29 strikeouts to 10 walks on the season. He's allowed 52 hits on the year in his 40 2/3 innings of work. Only 22 runs allowed, 15 of which are earned. Wilhelm will go ahead and take on the Sheridan Troopers lineup as follows in the bottom halves of our 7 innings. Leading off for the Troopers is number 20, Jaron Brewer, and he is patrolling center field. Batting second is number 11, Eric Taylor. He's out at second base. Batting third is number 4, Race Johnston. He's the designated hitter. And in the cleanup spot is number 12, Jacob Boynt. He's patrolling left field. Batting fifth is number 16, Aiden Roush, out at first base. Batting sixth is number 10, Quinn McCafferty. He's at the shortstop position. Batting 7th is number 24, Austin Borzinski. He's in the hot corner at third. Batting 8th is number 22, Justice Reese, patrolling right field. And rounding out the batting order in the 9th spot is number 13, Dalton Nelson, and he is the backstopper and catcher. Number 27, Caden Sargent, is on the mound for the Troopers to take on the Hard Hats, and he will do so in the top half of inning number 1. That is slated to start in just a few moments. Folks, we're going to take a step aside. When we come back, we will have a performance of the United States National Anthem. We'll be all set for first pitch to kick off this weekday, daytime doubleheader between the Sheridan Troopers playing host to your Post 22 Hard Hats. Stick around, folks. We'll be right back with first pitch here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. All set now and ready to rock for first pitch of this daytime weekday doubleheader between the host Sheridan Troopers and your Post 22 Hardhats. Thanks again so much for joining us, folks. Mark Benetti alongside you here on ESPN Rapid City, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM, and as always, stream live on the internet on Hardhats-TV. Caden Sargent prepping his right arm for battle on the mound, taking some warm-up pitches against the Post 22 Hardhats. He will take on Connor King, the center fielder, Ryan Bachman, the third baseman, and Cooper Bowman, the designated hitter, as number 1, 2, and 3 in the Hardhats batting order. Post 22 coming off of a 3-2 appearance in the Omaha tournament, hosted by their arch regional rivals, the Creighton Prep Jays. Probably the shining achievement of that tournament was the back-to-back wins they had against two World Series Final Four teams in Bryan, Arkansas, and in the Creighton Prep Jays. Creighton Prep finishing as the national runner-up, Bryant finishing in the Final Four. And the Hardhats took 3-run wins against both teams, 8-5 against the Black Sox in Arkansas, and 5-2 against the Creighton Prep Jays. Sargent still taking his warm-up pitches as we are ready to rock. Just a few moments here for this doubleheader. Looking at the field here in Sheridan, the dimensions are very interesting. To right field, it's 323 feet. I can't get a read on center field's dimension. I don't see any dimensional sign. Left field, there is a green monster. For those that happen to unfortunately be fans of the Boston Red Sox, they have a green monster in left field that is a towering wall. And this field has something very similar to that. 307 feet to left field, but you've got the wall as an equalizer, so that might as well be a 330-foot dimension there. You have to scale the wall to get anything out of the park over there in left. Our umpires are ready to assume their positions, and it looks like we're set and ready to go. 82 degrees out here in Sheridan, Wyoming, and clear skies, sun's shining, not too much of a breeze, so we don't necessarily think Mother Nature is going to be too much of a factor in this matchup. Connor King set to take some swings against Caden Sargent. Defensive alignment for the Troopers has Sargent and his right arm on the mound, paired up with Dalton Nelson behind the plate. At first is Aiden Roush, second Eric Taylor, shortstop Quinn McCafferty, and in the hot corner at third is Austin Borzinski. Left to right in the outfield, Jacob Boynt, Jaron Brewer, and Justice Reese. Umpire has said play ball. And here we go. Sargent's first pitch to King. Misses low and away. Ball one. And the official start time, 3:01. Here on this Tuesday afternoon. 1-0 the count to King, batting .300 on the season. And his next pitch is a called strike on the outside corner. And it's 1-1. King, the only lefty in the lineup here for the Hardhats. So this will be the only mismatch for Sargent. 1-1 pitch, way outside, and it's 2 balls and a strike now to King. Coach Torvey brought up a number of expos on this lineup today. So we're going to get a look at a number of different players. Next pitch to King, a called strike, a fastball outside corner, and now it's 2-2 to the Hardhats left-handed center fielder. Sargent looking for his first punch-out to start this contest. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. There's K number 1 for Sargent. 1 up, 1 down for the Hardhats on offense, and that'll now bring us to Ryan Bachman. 11th game this season in which Bachman's taking swings. A .364 average. He's 8 for 22 on the season with 6 singles and a pair of doubles. Bachman playing at third base here in game 1. First pitch from Sargent. Over his head, and that'll be ball 1. Ball and no strikes to count here to Bachman. Base path empty for the young third baseman with 1 out here in a scoreless top of the first. Here comes the 1-0. Pitch is swung on, and that ball's flared high in the air to shallow right. That's going to drop for a base hit. And so Ryan Bachman leads things off offensively for the Hardhats with a 1-out single here in a scoreless top of the first, and that'll now bring us to the designated hitter for game 1, Cooper Bowman. Cooper Bowman batting .483 on the season. And in the Omaha tournament was just sensational. Batting .556 when he was in Omaha last week. His first pitch is at his letters for ball one. 1-0 the count to the Hardhat DH. Bowman up with one out here in the top of a scoreless first inning with Bachman leading off at first. Caden Sargent from the stretch. Righty deals the 1-0. Called strike, a fastball at his knees, outside corner, and it's 1-1. Bowman in the tournament scored 9 runs and had 5 ribbies, a pair of triples and 8 singles. He went 10 for 18 in the tournament. Ball and a strike is count. Sargent checks back to first, and the pickoff's not there in time. He just missed it. Sargent in an awkward motion off the mound. I think if it was a little cleaner, he would have had him. But nonetheless, great intuition there by Sargent to throw to first. Bachman's lead, not that big. Next pitch is over the head of Bowman. It goes to the backstop, and Bachman will take second. So the wild pitch will put Bachman into scoring position and give Cooper Bowman a 2-1 count. Bowman on the season batting .565 with runners in scoring position. Quite a favorable scenario for him. There's a man on second with one out. 2-1 pitch, swung on, ball's hit high in the air to left center. And Brewer's there to make the catch. Tagging up and heading to third is Bachman. Some heads-up base running for him. And with 2 outs now and a scoreless top of the first, there's a man 90 feet from striking distance. And that'll bring us to Jack Sorensen. Sorensen batting cleanup once again. .388 with runners in scoring position on the year. .389 overall on the season. Sorensen, 32 ribbies. Third on the team behind Jace Caldwell and Cooper Bowman. First pitch, called strike on a breaking ball inside. It's 0-1. 0-1 to Sorensen with Bachman 90 feet to his left. 2 outs and a scoreless top of the first. Game 1 of a daytime doubleheader. Next pitch misses low on a fastball, and it's 1-1 now to Sorensen. If Sorensen's retired, the Troopers will go to the top of the order to Brewer, Taylor, and Johnston. 1-1 pitch misses low again, and it's 2-2 now to Jack Sorensen. Sargent picking up his pace a little bit. About to throw his 15th pitch of the inning. Here comes his 2-1. Pitch is swung on, ball's flared high in the air to right field. Underneath it, and making the catch is Justice Reese, and that will end the threat and the top half of the first inning. No runs on a hit with no errors, and a man stranded 90 feet from home. We've played half a frame of baseball. We're still scoreless, and the Sheridan Troopers will take their first swings of the bat. We'll take a step aside and come right back with the top of the order for Sheridan in the bottom of the first here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. Post 22 Hardhats baseball here on ESPN Rapid City is presented by Courtesy Subaru, by Shields, Qdoba Mexican Eats, Renewal by Anderson, Sicky's Garage Burgers and Brews, the Mustang Disaster Cleanup, and the Man Salon. No runs on a hit, no errors for the Hardhats in the top of the first. Still in a scoreless deadlock, and now the Troopers will take their first swings of the bat with Jaron Brewer, Eric Taylor, and Race Johnston in that order scheduled to hit. Troy Wilhelm on the mound for the Hardhats. This is his post-22 Hardhats debut. Wilhelm, the workhorse of the post-22 Expos at the JV level, 40 and 2/3 innings of work under his belt and 9 appearances, all of which have been starts. A perfect 5-0 record for him, 2.58 ERA, 29 strikeouts to 10 walks. Defensive alignment for the Hardhats has Wilhelm in his right arm on the mound, paired up with the catcher Todd Stevens. At first is Jack Sorensen, second Tyson Elliott, at shortstop Mason Messenger, and in the hot corner at third is Ryan Bachman. Left to right in the outfield, Alex Weaver, Connor King, and Holden Jackson. Brewer, the center fielder, right-handed batter, looks at a first pitch breaking ball outside and low, 1-0. 0-0 the score here in the bottom half of the first. We just started not even seconds ago. 1-0 pitch. Check swing, and he went. That's a called strike, and it's 1-1. Ball and a strike now to Brewer. Wilhelm does not take any time at all. He's right back to it. 1-1 pitch misses low, and it's 2 balls and a strike now to the leadoff man for the Troopers. Brewer, Taylor, Johnston, the DH, slated to hit. 2-1 pitch, just misses high and away. And now it's 3 balls and a strike the count from Wilhelm to Brewer. And here is the 3-1. Pitch is swung on, ball's flared high in the air, shallow right. Coming in from right's Jackson. He calls for it, and he makes the catch for out number 1. 1 up, 1 down for the Hardhats on defense will now bring us to the second baseman, Eric Taylor. Taylor also a right-handed batter, stepping in against the young righty in Wilhelm. And here comes his first pitch. That's high and away, ball 1. Wilhelm, an opportunity here to get a look at some varsity competition in the Troopers. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Breaking ball just missed. Oh, called strike. He got it. That was a delayed strike call, and it's 1-1. Beautiful breaking ball there by Wilhelm, but I thought he just missed it. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball this time misses outside, and it's 2-1. It's a good slider that Wilhelm's showcasing. It starts off and then breaks even further away. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Pitch is swung on, lined in the air to left. Underneath it's Weaver, trotting to his left, and he makes the catch for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down for the Hardhats on defense, and that'll bring us to Race Johnston, the designated hitter, here in Game 1. Hardhats and the Troopers squaring off in their second doubleheader of the season head-to-head. Hardhats won 10-0 and 9-7 to sweep the doubleheader in Rapid City. Looking for the same result here in Sheridan. First pitch to Johnson skips before home plate, and that'll be ball 1. Wilhelm employing that breaking ball again. 1-0 the count here to the Troopers' DH. Base path is empty for him with 2 outs and a scoreless bottom of the first. Here's a 1-0 pitch. That's a fastball low and away, 2-0. 2 balls, no strikes to Johnston. Wilhelm looking for a 1-2-3 inning. 2-0 pitch, called strike, fastball outside corner, and it's 2-1. If Johnston's retired, Hardhats start off with a 1-2-3 inning on defense, and Holden Jackson will lead off the top of the second. 2-1 pitch, swung on, chopped to third. Bachman gets the stop between his legs. Throw to first is in time. Almost pulled Sorensen off the bag, and that will end the first inning. Well, the Hardhats strike in 1-2-3 fashion on defense, which, as we all know, means no runs, hits, errors, or anybody left on base. We've played a frame of baseball and still have 0 runs to talk about between the Troopers and the Hardhats. We'll take a step aside and come right back with the top of the second. Jackson, Stevens, and Weaver scheduled to hit in that order here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. A lot of zeros on the board so far to start off the top half of the second inning. Still scoreless between the Troopers and the Hardhats. Game 1 out of 2 to be played this afternoon and this evening. Numbers across the board for the Hardhats, it's no runs on a hit with no errors in the field. And for the Troopers, it's straight zeros. No runs, hits, or errors. Mark Benetti alongside you here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. Holden Jackson leads off for the Hardhats to start off the top of the second against Caden Sargent. And Sargent's first pitch is an off-speed pitch inside, and that's a called strike. 0-1 to Jackson. Holden Jackson batting .333 on the season. And the 0-1 is swung on, and it's hit to first. Stop is made on the play by Roush. He'll toss to Sargent, covering the bag for out number 1. 3-1 in the scorebook for those keeping track with us at home. That's 1 up, 1 down for the Hardhats on offense. It'll now bring us to Todd Stevens. Stevens on the year batting .407. Only the 15th game, though, in which he's taken some swings. And his first pitch almost clipped him high and inside. That's ball 1. Stevens on the year is 11 for 27 in 36 plate appearances. He struck out 4 times and walked 5. He's been hit by a pitch on 4 occasions. And he looks at ball 2 high and away, and it's 2-0. 2 balls, no strikes to the Hardhats backstopper. 1 out with an empty base path here in the top of the second. Next pitch swung on and missed. Jammed him inside of the fastball, and it's 2-1. 0-0 score here in the top of the second from gorgeous Sheridan, Wyoming. First of 2 games to be played this afternoon and this evening. 2-1 pitch from Sargent. Swung on and fouled to the backstop. Again, jammed him high and inside. 2-2. Stevens going after the high and inside fastball. Sargent looking for his second strikeout. He is the only one registered between both pitchers. 2-2, hit him. On a 2-strike count, Stevens wears it for the 5th time this season. And the Hardhats have another man on with 1 out here in the top of the second. This will bring us to Alex Weaver now, the left fielder. Weaver batting .295 on the season coming into this matchup. And first pitch misses low for ball 1. Stevens took off for second, and he's safe. Stolen base there for Todd Stevens. No surprise for the track star. 1-0 the count for Alex Weaver. Weaver only batted .118 in the tournament in Omaha. 2 for 17 in the 5 games. Here's his 1-0 pitch. Fastball just missed outside, and it's 2-0. To the Hardhats left fielder. Two balls and no strikes to Weaver, and the pitch. Swung on, ball's hit high in the air to right center field. Coming from center and on the run over his head looking is Brewer. Ball goes all the way to the warning track. Rounding third and heading home is Stevens, and the Hardhats strike first this afternoon. A 1-out RBI double for Alex Weaver, and they take a 1-0 lead here in the top of the second. So Weaver starts off things for the Hardhats and gives them a 1-0 advantage. And that now brings us to Tyson Elliott. Elliott still looking for his first hit as a Hardhat. He is 0 for 3 in 7 plate appearances. Excuse me, 0 for 2 in 4 plate appearances. Tries to drop the bunt. It's dropped down the third baseline. That's a fair ball, and the throw to first is just barely in time. That was a gutsy play over at third by Borzinski. That ball looked like it was going to roll foul, and he still played it. Even Coach Torphy gave him a high five there and said, hey, nice play. Advancing over to third, Weaver, so a 5-3 sacrifice for Tyson Elliott gives the Hardhats 2 outs with a man 90 feet from scoring a second run, and that'll bring us to Mason Messenger. Messenger batting .296 on the season coming into this game, and he looks at a first pitch strike. 0-1 the count to Messenger. And here's his 0-1. And that misses low and away, 1-1 on a fastball that just missed the corner. Ball and a strike the count from Sargent, and his pitch to Messenger. Swung on and fouled to the backstop. 1-2. Messenger with runners in scoring position batting .250. 1 out of every 4 opportunities. Sargent about to throw his 15th pitch of the inning and his 30th overall. 1-2 to Messenger, misses low and away, and the ball goes to the backstop, and Weaver's going to trot home, and it's a 2-0 Hardhats lead. Another wild pitch that brings a runner to an advancing situation. This time it brings him home. So now it's an empty base path for Messenger and a 2-2 count. 2-0 the Hardhats lead. 2 runs on a hit in this inning. Sargent now with an empty base path around him. 2-2 to Messenger. And that almost hit him high and inside. And the count goes full. First full count we've had in this ball game between both pitchers. One pitch could either perpetuate or end this inning. Here comes the payoff from Sargent. Swung on and missed, strike 3, and that'll do it. 2 strikeouts for Sargent, and it ends the inning, but the Hardhats deal the first damage of the ball game. 2 runs on a hit with no errors charged to the Troopers and no one left on the base path. An inning and a half of baseball in the books, and Post 22 has an early 2-0 lead. We'll take a step aside and come right back with the bottom of the second. The heart of the order due up for the Troopers here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. Hardhats back on the defensive, now find themselves ahead. A narrow 2-0 lead as we head to the bottom half of the second inning. And the Troopers will come back to the offensive. First lefty for Wilhelm to face, and that is Jacob Boynt, the cleanup hitter, playing in left field for the Troopers. Troy Wilhelm only threw 13 pitches in that first inning, and his first in this one is a called strike at the knees of Boynt, 0-1. Boynt, Roush, and McCafferty slated to hit in that order here in the bottom of the second. 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball inside. Boynt almost offered at it. 1-1. Hardhats with a 2-0 lead on 2 hits with no errors on defense. Straight 0 so far for the Troopers. No runs, hits, or errors. Mark Benetti alongside you here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV as well. Here comes the 1-1 from Wilhelm. And that's too high and inside, 2-1. Wilhelm in his Hardhats debut played 40 2/3 innings with the Expos. And the next pitch he deals is just low, 3-1 now to Boynt. 29 strikeouts to 10 walks as well. Coach Torvey said that he's by far the best pitcher on that team. 3-1, a called strike on the outside corner with a fastball. Now the count goes full here for Wilhelm. Looking for his first K as a Hardhat. And the payoff pitch. Swung on, ball's hit to second. Stop is made on the play by Elliott. Throw to first in time for out number 1. 4-3 in the books, 1 up, 1 down for the Hardhats on defense. And now that brings us to Aiden Roush, the first baseman. That was a well-hit ball by Boynt and an even better stop for Elliott. He got shuffling to his left. He squared up to the ball. He bobbled it just a little bit, but because he squared up to the ball, he was able to recover, field it, get a good throw off. First pitch from Wilhelm. What a breaking ball that was. A called strike on the inside corner. 0-1 to Roush. Roush with an empty base path and 1 out here in the bottom of the second. Hardhats with the 2-0 lead as the next breaking ball from Wilhelm misses upstairs. 1-1. Ball and a strike now the count here to Roush. And Wilhelm deals. Check swing, did he go? It doesn't look like he did. It's 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 now to Roush. 1 out here in the bottom of the second. Hardhats up 2-0. Here's a 2-1 pitch. Swung on, ball's hit high in the air. Right side of the infield. Sorensen on the line, looking for it and almost lost it. That took a crazy spin coming down, but he catches it for out number 2. And that was practically right on the bag, too, so Sorensen had to worry about his footing. And then if the ball hit him and stayed fair, then it's a fair ball. All of a sudden, you've got a base runner on your hands. So that could have been completely different. Quinn McCafferty looks at ball 1 on a breaking ball low and away. Shortstop for the Troopers comes up, right-handed batter with 2 outs and an empty base path. 1-0 misses low and away, and it's 2-0 now from Wilhelm to McCafferty. 2-0 Hardhats lead here in the bottom half of the second. Wilhelm looking for back-to-back 1-2-3 innings. Here is the 2-0. Pitch is swung on. Ball's hit to third. Bachman a nice scoop. Throw to first in time, and that'll do it. 5-3 in the book ends the inning. Another 1-2-3 inning for the Hardhats on defense, which, as we all know, means no runs, hits, errors, or anybody left on base. We've played 2 frames of baseball, and the Hardhats look to expand upon their 2-0 lead as they transition to the top of the third. Top of the order due up for the Hardhats when we return on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. For those Rapid City Rush fans tuning in today, don't forget that tomorrow night we have our open forum with one of our owners, Luke Peterson, who will be in the club level of Rushmore Plaza Civic Center Ice Arena to talk about any concerns fans may have about the team's hockey or business operations, ticketing operations, and any questions heading into our 11th season of hockey in the Black Hills. If you haven't already, get your full season tickets now, a 36-game package. And if you get one and or renew your tickets, you get a free personalized jersey that is exclusive to season ticket members. Nobody can buy them in the team store, and they are not game jerseys. I mean, they're official game jerseys, but they're not worn in-game. Connor King to lead off the top half of the third, and he looks at a first pitch low and away from Sargent, 1-0. King's 0 for 1 on the ballgame. He's struck out and is the first of 2 strikeouts issued by Sargent in this start. Here's his 1-0 pitch. Called strike, a fastball outside corner, and it's 1-1. Numbers across the board through 2 innings. The Hardhats have 2 runs on 2 hits with no errors, and it's straight zeros across the board for the Troopers. 1-1 pitch, misses low and away, and now it's 2-1 to King. King will be followed by Bachman and Bowman to start off the top half of the third. Here's the 2-1, and that misses low below the knees of King, and it's 3-1. Sargent has yet to issue a walk, but he did hit a batter, so this would not be his first free pass if it's ball 4. 3-1 pitch is high and away for ball 4, and King leads off the top of the third with a walk. First time in this game that the Hardhats' leadoff man has reached. That'll bring up Ryan Bachman, the third baseman, who is 1 for 1 on the ball game. He got the first hit between both teams. 1 out single back in the top of the first. Connor King leads off a first. Sargent will come from the stretch. First pitch, too far inside. 1-0 to Bachman. Bachman took a 1-0 pitch and flared it into right field for the first hit of the ball game. We'll see what his 1-0 approach is on this sequence. Ball and 0 strikes the count. King leads. And there's a check to first. They've got him in a rundown. Throw to second. Now comes all the way back to first. King's going to dive for it, and he's out. A 1-3-4-3 pickoff. And now the Hardhats don't have a base runner. Empty base path for Bachman now with 1 out here in the top of the third. Hardhats still have a 2-0 lead. But a careless mistake there by Connor King. Sargent now a full windup. 1-0 pitch is high and inside, and that'll be 2-0 to Bachman. Bachman now with an empty base path and 1 out here in the top of the third. Hardhats with a 2-0 lead. Sargent's 40th pitch is inside again, and it's 3-0 to Bachman. He's a pitch away from being the second walk issued in this frame. 3 balls, no strikes, and Sargent deals. Inside, called strike. Bachman had to shy away from that ball there, but the umpire said it hit the corner, so 3-1. He'll have to see another pitch before he trots over to first, if he even does. Here comes the 3-1, and that misses low for ball 4, and Bachman will take a pass. So that'll be a 1-out walk to Bachman. And that'll bring up Cooper Bowman, who's 0 for 1, with a fly out to center field. Cooper Bowman steps in. Bachman takes his lead off of first. Sargent from the stretch, first pitch. Misses low on a fastball. It's ball 1. 1-0 the count here to Bowman. Hardhats with a 2-0 lead. He is looking to add to it. Bowman hitting just under 500 on the year. Hit just under 600 in Omaha last week. And his next pitch again is low. 2-0. Bowman leads in virtually every statistical category for the Hardhats. Here comes his 2-0. Pitch is swung on. Ball's hit high in the air to right center. Coming in from center is Brewer, and the ball's over his head again. It's going to go to the warning track. Bachman slowed up, so he rounds second, and he will head to third. If there was any indication that that ball was going to go over Brewer's head, Bachman surely would have come home. But he had to hold up because there was still a chance that Brewer could make a play on the ball, so it'll be a double for Bowman. Bachman advances 90 feet from home, and that'll bring up Jack Sorensen with 2 men in scoring position and a chance to add to the Hardhats' lead. It already stands at 2-0 with 1 out and 2 men in scoring position here in the top of the third. Sargent's first pitch to Sorensen is a called strike. Fastball outside corner. Sorensen's 0 for 1. Flew out to right field with a runner on third to end the first inning. Here comes the 0-1 from Sargent. Breaking ball fouled. Right at home plate, it's 0-2. So Sorensen in an 0-2 hole. Sargent really needs an out at the plate here because if Sorensen hits anything out of the infield, base hit or a fly ball, that'll probably score Bachman. He needs an out at the plate. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Pitch is swung on. Ball's hit to second. Stop is made on the play by Taylor. Throw to first is in time for out number 2, but in the sequence, coming around to score was Bachman. So it's an RBI ground out for Jack Sorensen, and the Hardhats lead is now 3-0 with 2 outs and a man on third here in the top of the third. So 2 down to the man 90 feet from home again. Hardhats with a 3-0 lead. And Holden Jackson, who grounded out, takes his first swing, and that ball's hit high in the air to left, and it's all the way to the warning track. Jackson rounds first. He's into second. Bowman comes in to score. Jackson's trying to make it a triple, and the fielder falls. He couldn't get a throw to third, and Jackson's safe at third, and the Hardhats, thanks to an RBI triple from Jackson, now have a 4-0 lead. With 2 outs and a man 90 feet from home here in the top of the third. Todd Stevens now comes up. He was the first run of the ball game. Hit by a pitch, and he came around. Next pitch from Sargent will be number 50 in this start. And his first pitch is a called strike. Fastball at the knees, it's 0-1. Sargent working on his 19th pitch of the inning. Here comes the 0-1 to Stevens. And that's a breaking ball, called strike, just floated right in there. Beautiful pitch, it's 0-2. I think that pitch would have froze anyone. That was a great pitch. Sargent looking to end it. 0-2 pitch is low. It's blocked by the catcher in Nelson. Didn't skip too far away, so Jackson stays on third. Ball and 2 strikes now to Stevens. If he keeps the inning going, Alex Weaver's on deck. If not, bottom three due up in the bottom of the third for the Troopers. 2 runs on 2 hits in this inning for the Hardhats. 1-2 pitch, swung on, ball's hit to short. McCafferty gets the stop on the hop. His throw to first is in time, and that will end the inning. Well, the Hardhats do some damage. Again, 2 runs on 2 hits, no errors charged to the Troopers, and a man left 90 feet from scoring once more. Hardhats bat through 6 through the order, and now have a 4-0 lead heading into the bottom half of the third. Bottom third of the order due up for Sheridan in the bottom of the third. We'll take a step aside and come right back here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. All set now for the bottom half of the third as Troy Wilhelm comes out in what's been a fantastic Hardhats debut for him. Through at least 2 innings. 13 pitches in each inning, 26 total. He doesn't have a strikeout, but more importantly, he doesn't have a walk yet either, nor has he hit a batter. Wilhelm's breaking pitch is working. He can throw it for a strike. He's still looking for that first punch out as a varsity Hardhat. But he's doing well so far. Ryan Bachman gives him a last-second fist bump and hands him the ball. Looks like we're set now for the bottom half of the third. Austin Borzinski, the third baseman. Justice Reese, the right fielder. Dalton Nelson, the catcher. Slated to hit in that order here in the inning. Looks like we are now ready to rock as Wilhelm will throw his first pitch to Borzinski. And that's a breaking ball that skips away, 1-0. 4 runs on 4 hits with no errors for the Hardhats. Straight zeros for the Troopers. Next pitch, swung on and missed. High fastball, it's 1-1. Again, Wilhelm wasting no time. Right back to it with the 1-1 pitch. And that hits him. And that is the first base runner of the ball game for the Troopers. That'll bring up Justice Reese, the right fielder. Hardhats looking to turn the double play and give Wilhelm some help on the mound there. 4th pitch of the inning for him. Reese, a right-handed batter, steps in with a man on first. First pitch is a breaking ball low and away, 1-0. Borzinski on first, hit by the pitch. He takes his lead. Wilhelm gives a quick peek. And the 1-0 pitch. Fastball called strike outside corner, and it's 1-1. First time that Wilhelm's had to pitch from the stretch in this inning. Ball on a strike. And the pitch is fouled over the Hardhats dugout and into the parking lot. 1-2. Wilhelm looking for that first punch out as a Hardhat. He's been a strike away on 2 different occasions. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and fouled. Just barely fouled. And the count will hold at 1-2. That was a good pitch as well. It was a low breaking ball. Started in the zone, just sank right down. 1-2 pitch. Swung on, and the ball's chopped foul, third base side. Reese just a tad bit ahead of it. 1-2. Ball and 2 strikes to count out of Reese. Wilhelm takes a quick peek at first to Borzinski. Once again, 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball, just missed. And it's a 2-2 count. I thought he froze him. The umpire thought differently. 2 balls, 2 strikes. See if Wilhelm goes back to it. 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball is chopped. Foul high in the air. Stevens chasing after it, and it's just out of his reach. And the count will hold at 2-2. Wilhelm in a battle right now. Came into the inning with 26 pitches. He just threw his 10th of the frame. He's about to throw his 8th in this at-bat. Quite a battle here against Justice Reese. Borzinski again leads off at first. Wilhelm again from the stretch. 2-2 pitch. Swung on, and that ball's lined high in the air to left center field, and Weaver's unable to make the catch. It goes by both gentlemen and all the way to the wall. Connor King fields it in to Mason Messenger. That's the first hit of the ball game for the Troopers. A double to advance 2 men to scoring position, and that'll bring up Dalton Nelson, the catcher. So now the Troopers threatening with no outs here in the bottom of the 3rd. They just got their first hit of the ball game. And Dalton Nelson, the left-handed hitting catcher, the second mismatch against Wilhelm. Wilhelm's going to go full windup. He steps off the rubber, and now he's going to have a quick conference here with Todd Stevens. Men on 2nd and 3rd here for Wilhelm with no one out in the bottom of the 3rd. Hardhats have a 4-0 lead that's now in jeopardy. Here comes the first pitch. And that's a breaking ball that just missed low and away. 1-0. Borzinski, the most immediate threat on the base path on 3rd. Reese is on 2nd with the double. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Pitch is swung on. Ball's hit to 3rd. Bachman's going to go home, and his throw to Stevens is off track, and then he lost the ball. And the Troopers are on the board. 4-1 now is the Hardhats lead. And I think they're probably going to rule that one an error, I would imagine. On the throw home, it was off track. Borzinski comes in to score. Reese advances to 3rd, so it's men on the corners. And now Jaron Brewer comes up back to the top of the order. Still no one out. And now the Hardhats lead is 4-1. Wilhelm from the stretch. First pitch. Called strike, a fastball. It's 0-1. Bachman made the right call. Go home. You had the runner dead to rights, but the throw was off track. Stevens somehow snared it, went for the tag, and then the ball went flying out of his glove when he tried to apply it. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball skips away to the backstop, and another run's going to come in, and advancing to 2nd is Nelson. And now it's a 4-2 Hardhats lead. Troopers plating 2 on a hit and an error as well in this inning. So ball and a strike to count here to Brewer, who has a man in scoring position. Brewer 0 for 1. He was one of the first 6 gentlemen in this game that were just retired. Pitch swung on. Ball's hit high in the air. First base side, foul territory. Sorensen comes in at the fence, and he makes the catch. Great catch by Sorensen. The Hardhats needed that out. It's out number 1. That'll bring up Eric Taylor, the second baseman.
Now batting the second baseman, number 1, Eric Taylor.
Taylor lined out to left in his first at-bat. He has a man on 2nd, and now 1 out here in the bottom of the 3rd. The Hardhats had a 4-0 lead. It's been cut in half now, 4-2. 2 runs on a hit with an error. Wilhelm from the stretch gets a sign. First pitch to Taylor. Breaking ball, called strike. 0-1. Wilhelm can throw that breaking ball for a strike, which makes him quite a threat on the mound. Very young talent. Check to 2nd is not in time. Oh, my goodness. Messenger thought he had it. That was awfully close. A great pickoff as well, though, by Wilhelm. He didn't airmail it. A nice poised throw to second. No balls and a strike the count. And the pitch. Swung on and missed. Breaking ball. Tailed away from Taylor. It's 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes to count. Wilhelm from the stretch, still looking for that first punch out, and the 0-2 is swung on and missed for strike 3, and there it is. First punch out as a hard hat. 2 down with a man on second, and that brings us to Race Johnston. So Wilhelm with a huge strikeout there, 2 down. And the first pitch to Johnston, breaking ball called strike. It's 0-1. Johnston grounded out to third to end a 1-2-3 bottom half of the first. Wilhelm just threw his 20th pitch of the frame, by the way. Here comes 21 on an 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball swung on and missed. 0-2. The old mantra for pitchers, especially this young, is if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And right now, Wilhelm has gone to that breaking ball. It is not broken. It has worked for him perfectly. So why is he going to deviate? 0-2 pitch. Misses low, skips away. Hanging on at second is Nelson. 1-2. Wilhelm looking for back-to-back Ks. It would end the bottom half of the third. Hardhats have a 4-2 lead. Man on second with 2 outs. 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball swung on, hit to third. Stop made by Bachman on a high hop. His throw to first in time, and that'll end it. Well, the Troopers get back on the board against the Hardhats. They scored 2 runs on a hit with an error charge to post 22, and a man left 180 feet from scoring. We've played 3 frames of baseball, and now the Hardhats lead has been cut to 4-2 against the Sheridan Troopers in Game 1 of their doubleheader. We'll take a step aside and come right back with the top of the 4th and the bottom third of the Hardhats order due up here on ESPN Rapid City and Hardhats-TV. Post 22 Hardhats baseball here on ESPN Rapid City is presented by Courtesy Subaru, Shields, Qdoba Mexican Eats, Renewal by Anderson, Sicky's Garage Burgers and Brews, the Mustang Disaster Cleanup, and the Man Salon. Post 22 carries a 4-2 lead against the Sheridan Troopers in Game 1 of today's doubleheader into the top half of the 4th inning. Numbers across the board for the Hardhats. It's 4 runs on 4 hits with 1 error in the field. And for the Sheridan Troopers, it's 2 runs on a hit with no errors on defense. Mark Benetti alongside you here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV as Alex Weaver, Tyson Elliott, and Mason Messenger are slated to hit here in the top of the 4th. Sargent's first pitch to Weaver, a called strike, an off-speed pitch outside corner. 0-1 to Weaver, who's 1 for 1 on the ballgame, an RBI double and a run scored under his belt. 0-1 from Sargent. Pitch is swung on, ball's hit to second. Stops made on the play by Taylor. He bobbles it, and his throw is not there in time, and then it's off track. And Weaver's going to try and take second, realizes nobody's covering first, and he will retreat safely back to first. That'll be an E4 on the sequence. Arguments could be made for 2 E's charged to 4. That'll bring us to Tyson Elliott. Not only was the ball bobbled, but then once he settled it and got the throw off, it was way off track. So Elliott comes up with a man on first. No one out here in the top of the 4th. Elliott dropped a sacrifice bunt the last time he was up. Here's his first pitch. He shows it again, drops it down the first baseline, but it's foul. 0-1. Elliott got under the ball trying to bunt it there. He's got to get on top of the ball, force it down. And now Coach Torvey's going to have a quick word with him. Probably an affirmation along the lines of, you can do this, you've done it before. So square up and drop it down the line. Weaver takes his lead off of first. 0-1 to Tipton. He shows, pulls back, and that'll be ball one. 1-1 now to Elliott. Ball and a strike the count. Elliott again shows, but pushes it foul down the first baseline. Again, he pushed at it. He got under it. Ball and 2 strikes now the count, so unless he's feeling lucky, the bunt is taken out of the equation. Elliott will have to swing away. 1-2 now the count. And Sargent's pitch. He squared up for bunt. The pitch skipped to the catcher, Nelson, and Weaver's going to take second. So the pass ball will bring Weaver into scoring position and even the count at 2-2 for Elliott. 60th pitch of this start about to come from Sargent. Sargent looks to Weaver at second, 2-2 to Elliott. He swings and misses for strike 3. Strikeout number 3 for Sargent. That's a key first out with a man in scoring position. That's going to bring us to Mason Messenger. Messenger was the second strikeout of now 3 issued by Sargent on the mound. First pitch to Messenger. Pitch is swung on. That's ripped. Right field side, and that's just. Messenger thought he had extra bases and a. It's strike 1. 0-1 to Messenger. Hardhats with a 4-2 lead. A man on second, 1 out here in the top of the 4th. Game 1. A strike, and Sargent deals. And first base side, and it goes out of the reach of Aiden Roush. Quickly 0-2 now to Messenger. Weaver on second. Reached on the air. Advanced on Messenger. Weaver goes, and the pitch is low and in the dirt. Nelson up for a throw. Heads up base running. All in 2 strikes, and now Weaver's 90 feet away from giving the Hardhats that after. Wind up. And the 1-2 is swung on, and it's chopped to third. RBI ground out for Mason Messenger. Back to the top we go here to King. 0 for 1 with a strikeout and a 1. First pitch is a breaking ball, called strike inside it is. There by Sargent. Heck, both pitchers are throwing a nice breaking ball this afternoon. Here comes the 0-1 to King. And that is fastball. It's 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike the count. And Sargent on. 2 balls and a strike the King. 2 outs, an empty base path for him here in the top of the 4th. King, who is a pitch away from seeing his second walk of this contest. Here is the 3-1, and that's high and away. So King takes his second walk. 2 outs. He is on the base path. That'll bring us to Ryan Bachman, who's 1 for 1 with a single, a walk, and a run scored. One hit by pitch. Here comes pitch. The first pitch to Bachman will be number 70 of this start. For Sargent. From the stretch, first pitch. High and inside, ball one. Throw to second with King stealing it. And it's off track. He has a man in scoring position. 2 outs here in the top. The Hardhats are up 5-2. To second and the 1-0. Pitch is swung on, and that ball is to the second baseman Taylor and into shallow right center. Round third, heading home and trotting home is King. A 2-out RBI single for Ryan Bachman, and the Hardhats lead is now 6 first here in the top of the fourth. A great hit. Flared right over the head of second baseman Eric Taylor. And now, Cooper Bowman stepped. Scored. Also flew out to center field. And his first pitch the middle, and by McCafferty and into center for a base hit. On at second, and Bowman keeps the inning. Another 2-out single. And that is going to bring up Jack Sorensen, who's 0 for 2 with an RBI groundout. Bit of a 2-out rally here for the Hardhats, who now have a 6-2 lead. Sargent from the stretch looks to second. And the first pitch is high and away from Sorensen, a fastball. It's 1-0. Sorensen flew out to right to end the top half of the first, and then he had an RBI groundout in the top of the third. 1-0 pitch misses low and inside, and it is now 2-0 to the Hardhat first baseman. Cooper Bowman 90 feet to his right on first. Across from him on the diamond on second is Bachman. 6-2 the Hardhats lead with 2 outs here in the top of the fourth. Sargent's 2-0 pitch. Just missed. Fastball low and away, it's 3-0. Nelson a pitch away from, or excuse me, Sargent a pitch away from issuing his fourth walk. 3-0 is fouled. 3-1 now to Sorensen. 3 walks issued by Sargent, along with 1 hit by pitch. There was an error as well. 3-1, swung on, ball's hit high in the air to center field. Brewer is going back towards the warning track, and the ball goes off the wall. Sorensen's rounding first. He's heading to second. Bachman comes in to score. Bowman comes in to score. A 2-run, 2-out RBI double for Jack Sorensen, and it's now an 8-2 Hardhats lead here in the top of the fourth. Bowman scoring all the way from first. 2 outs, nothing to stop for, so that's why he was able to do that. Hardhats have hit it off that center field wall a number of times in this game. That's going to bring us to Holden Jackson, who has an RBI triple under his belt. And he fouls off his first pitch. 0-1. 2 outs, the Hardhats on a rally here. They've plated 4 in this inning. 4 on 3 hits with an error. Charge to the Troopers. 0-1 pitch. Swung on, and the ball is just fair. That's a fair ball, and it goes into left. Coming around to score is Sorensen, and heading to second with a 2-out RBI double is Holden Jackson, and it's now a 9-2 Hardhats lead. That just made it fair. And now the Hardhats have officially batted through the lineup in this inning. And Todd Stevens now comes up. 5 runs on 4 hits for the Hardhats in this inning. And Sargent's about to throw his 80th pitch of the start. First pitch, ball's hit high in the air to left center field. Brewer is on his back pedal towards the warning track, and he makes the catch. and that will end the inning. Well, the Hardhats bat through everybody in the frame. They get 5 runs on 4 hits with an error charge to the Troopers and a man left in scoring position. We have played exactly half the ball game, and the Hardhats now have a 9-2 lead. We'll take a step aside and come back with the bottom of the 4th. The heart of the order due up for the Troopers here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. Another reminder to all the Rapid City Rush fans tuning in back home that tomorrow night we're going to have our open forum with owner Luke Peterson. The club level of Rushmore Plaza Civic Center Ice Arena. We invite everybody to attend. Fans of the team, casual fans of the team, season ticket holders, concerned citizens, anyone to come on out and have a discussion with our owner Luke Peterson. I'll be in attendance as well. Our president Joe McDonald, the head coach Daniel Tatro. We may even announce a player too, the first player signing of the offseason. So this could be something very fun for everybody to join in and have some great constructive discussion about any concerns fans may be having with the team. Sargent had a 27-pitch inning. And that last half of the 4th inning. We now go to the second half of the ball game, bottom half of the 4th here. Post 22 now with a 9-2 lead. 9 runs on 8 hits with an error on defense. And for the Troopers, it's 2 runs on a hit, also an error charged on defense. Mark Benetti alongside you here on ESPN Rapid City, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM. And as always on Hardhats-TV. Jacob Boynt, the lefty, leads off against Troy Wilhelm, and his first pitch skips low and away for ball 1. It'll be Boynt, Roush, and McCafferty slated to hit for Sheridan here in the bottom half of the 4th. Here's the 1-0 from Wilhelm, and that's upstairs over the letters, 2-0. Wilhelm with his first strikeout as a Hardhat. Has not issued a walk. He has hit a batter. His first start at the varsity level. 2-0 pitch, called strike. Fastball in the inside corner at the knees of Boynt. It's 2-1. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. And that is flared into left field, and it just drops foul. And the count evens up at 2-2. Boynt trying to go opposite field. And he almost had it. That would have certainly been extra bases. Just on the positioning of the ball, how far away Alex Weaver was to try and field it. Boynt was about 2 feet away from standing on second. Here comes the 2-2, and that's upstairs, and the count will go full. Fastball coming from Wilhelm, and Stevens can hang on to it. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The second payoff pitch of this start for Wilhelm. Coincidentally, both of them to Boynt. Here's the payoff. Swung on, and that ball's pushed opposite field into left, and it's going to drop for a base hit. It's going to go all the way to the corner. Boynt rounds first. He will stand on second with that double to lead off the bottom half of the 4th. Just the second hit of the ball game for the Troopers. This is a good way to start off the second half of this contest. So a man in scoring position, and that's going to bring up Aiden Roush, and it looks like we're going to get a pinch runner in here. Kellen Mentok. Kellen Mentok will now come in. As Roush steps into the batter's box. First pitch swung on, ripped right back up the middle and into center for a base hit. Rounding third and stopping because of some great defense from Connor King in center field was Mentok. So it'll be just a single for Aiden Roush. Back-to-back hits here for the Troopers. It'll be men on the corners with no one out. That'll bring up Quinn McCafferty. So Roush now 1 for 2. And McCafferty 0 for 1. Steps in against Wilhelm for the second time. First pitch. Low and away. It skips off of Stevens. Only taking second on the play is Roush. And then the throw home is off track by Stevens. And coming in to score is Mentok, and it's now 9-3. Post 22 still has the lead. Roush was going to be the only one to take a base, and then Stevens missed the throw at home. So an E2 would bring in a run. 1-0 pitch. Breaking ball called strike to McCafferty. It's 1-1 now. Costly mistake there for the Hardhats. It was a 9-2 lead. Now it stands at 9-3 with no outs and a man in scoring position. 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball misses low. Stevens can't locate it, and taking third is Roush. Passed ball puts him 90 feet from scoring. 2-1. Wilhelm's going to go full windup now. 60th pitch, 2-1, swung on. That ball's lined into left center. That's going to drop for a base hit. King comes in to field it. One run's going to come in to score. An RBI single for Quinn McCafferty. And now the Hardhats lead is at 9-4. 2 runs on 3 hits and an error in this inning. For the Troopers. Austin Borzinski now comes up. And Wilhelm's first pitch is a breaking ball upstairs, 1-0. Borzinski was hit by a pitch and came around to score the first run for the Troopers. Man on first with no one out. His next pitch is hit high in the air, foul territory, first base side, and into the stands. Count evens at a ball and a strike. Wilhelm could really use his infield defense to turn a double play here. He's given up 2 runs in back-to-back innings now, and a third one is standing on first. No outs here in the bottom of the 4th. 9-4 now the Hardhats lead. 1-1 pitch, swung on and missed. Runner goes. Stevens, throw to second is not in time. And McCafferty will take second. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count to Borzinski, now with a man in scoring position. Wilhelm could really use that second strikeout here. About to throw his 64th pitch of the start. Wilhelm from the stretch. Here's the 1-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3. There's his second strikeout and a key first out for the Hardhats here in the bottom of the 4th. That's going to bring up Justice Reese. Justice Reese doubled the last time he came up. Here's the first pitch. It's fouled right off the end of the bat. 0-1. Nice breaking ball again from Wilhelm. Again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He had a couple of location issues with the fastball. Then guys started hitting the fastball. It went back to the breaking ball, and it seems that things have worked out for him there. No balls and a strike to count. Wilhelm a double take to second. 0-1 pitch, swung on, ball's lined in the air to center field. Connor King comes back, he makes the catch. Tagging up and heading to third is McCafferty, and the throw's not going to get there in time. So 2 down as McCafferty advances to third safely. That'll bring up the 9-hole hitter, Dalton Nelson, the other lefty in the lineup. Nelson reached on an error. It knocked in a run. First pitch. Swung on. Ball's hit to the right side of the infield. It's fair, and it goes right through the legs of Sorensen. A run's going to score. No, they're saying foul. They're saying foul. That was very close. That looked fair from up here. I thought that was an E3 and a run scored. Instead, it's an 0-1 count. The Hardhats, I think they got away with one there. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. And quickly, Nelson's behind 0-2. I didn't even see a foul signal anywhere until I looked down, and Nelson started walking back. 0-2 is fouled off. That was definitely a foul ball. And the count will hold at 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes. Wilhelm. 0-2 pitch. Swung on. Ball is chopped. Foul again, first base side. And the count will hold at 0-2. That, by the way, was the 70th pitch thrown by Wilhelm in this inning. My math is right. That's 24 he's had. Or 21, excuse me. 0-2 pitch. Swung on, and the ball's pushed to second. Elliott's going to get the stop on the hop. Throw to first in time. And that'll end the bottom half of the 4th. 2 runs on 3 hits with an error charged to the Hardhats and a man stranded on third. We've played 4 innings of baseball, and the Hardhats lead is now 9-4. We'll take a step aside and come right back with the top of the 5th and the bottom third of the order slated to hit for Post 22 in just a few moments here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. Onward now to the 5th inning here in Sheridan. Post 22 holds on to a 9-4 lead as we come to the top half of the 5th with the bottom third of the order. Alex Weaver, Tyson Elliott, and Mason Messenger scheduled to hit barring any substitutions in this matchup. Mark Benetti alongside you here on ESPN Rapid City, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM, and as always stream live on the internet on Hardhats-TV. Post 22, 9 runs on 8 hits with 2 errors on defense. And the Troopers, 4 runs on 4 hits with 1 blemish in the field as well. Roughly 30 minutes-ish following the conclusion of this matchup, we will have Game 2 of the doubleheader between the Troopers and the Hardhats. We are pushing on an hour and 9 minutes right now, heading into the top of the 5th of this first game. Alex Weaver slated to lead off the top half of the 5th. 1 for 2 with an RBI double, reach on an error, and 2 runs scored. And his first pitch, a called strike from Caden Sargent, 0-1. Sargent just threw his 81st pitch of this start. I would not expect him to go anything past this inning. 0-1 pitch. Swung on, ball's lined into left field. That's going to drop for a base hit. So Alex Weaver leads off the top of the 5th with a single. And that'll bring us to Tyson Elliott. It looks like we have a defensive substitution as well, as Luke Keller is now taken over at second base. Caleb Keller at first. Elliott drops the bunt down the first baseline. Sargent's there, can't get the tag. Throw to first, not in time. A bunt single for Tyson Elliott, who nailed it right down the line. You couldn't have placed that any perfect than that. Weaver on second, Elliott on first with the bunt single. First hit is a hard hat. That brings us to Mason Messenger. Messenger, 0 for 2 with a strikeout and an RBI groundout. First pitch swung on, ball's hit into shallow left center. That drops for a hit, and everybody's only going to take 1 base. So Messenger with a single advances Weaver to third and Elliott to second. Bases juiced. That brings us to the top of the order to Connor King. King 0 for 1 with a strikeout and a pair of walks, a stolen base, and a run scored. He was also picked off on the base path as well. King looking for his first hit of the ball game. If he gets it, it would surely knock in at least a run, maybe 2. Every base occupied. The corners are in. Middle infield at double play depth. First pitch, called strike. A beautiful breaking ball from Sargent. It's 0-1. No balls and a strike to King with the bases loaded. No one out here in the top of the fifth. 0-1 pitch. Fastball just missed outside, and the count evens at a ball and a strike. Messenger on first, Elliott on second, Weaver on third. 1-1 to King, misses low, and it'll be 2 balls and a strike now to the Hardhats' left-handed hitting center fielder. The outfield is shaded very much to the right. Reese in right field, just a couple of feet from the line. Next pitch, swung on, slow roller right to the mound. Sargent gets it at home. Throw to first is not in time. So that'll be a 1-2 fielder's choice. That knocks out Weaver, but keeps it a bases-loaded situation for Ryan Bachman. Bachman 2 for 2 on the afternoon. Just came off of an RBI single. He also has 2 runs scored, and he's walked once. And if Bachman can't get the job done, then Cooper Bowman, of all people, is on deck. First pitch is high and inside to Bachman, 1-0. A lot of inside pitches thrown to Bachman there from Sargent. The base path is still loaded, different personnel, as the 1-0 is a called strike. Fastball outside corner, 1-1. King is on first, Messenger is on second, and Elliott's on third. Here for Bachman. 1 out in the top of the fifth. It's a 9-4 Hardhats lead. 1-1. Pitch is swung on. Ball's hit to short. McCafferty to the stop. To second for 1. To first for 2. And he got it. And that's going to end the inning. 6-4-3 ends the bases loaded threat. And the Hardhats can't capitalize. No runs on 3 hits. No errors. And the bases were left loaded for the double play. 4.5 innings in the book. And the Hardhats still have a 9-4 lead to protect coming to the bottom half of the fifth. We'll be right back here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. Changing of the guard on the mound for post 22, heading into the bottom half of the fifth. The first varsity start of Troy Wilhelm has come to an end. And now taking over on the mound for post 22 is Zach Sumption. Sumption comes in with a sub-1 ERA at .91. This will be his 5th appearance of the year and his 4th in relief. He's 0-1 on the year, but 2 for 2 on save opportunities and 7 2/3 innings of work. He struck out 6 and only walked 1 on the year. He takes over for Troy Wilhelm, who went 4 innings in his varsity debut. 4 hits, 4 runs allowed, all of them earned. Didn't walk a single batter, struck out a pair, but did hit 1. All on 71 total pitches. A quality first varsity start for Wilhelm. Sumption will come up, and he will take on the top of the order for the Troopers in Jaron Brewer, Luke Keller, and so here comes Brewer. Brewer on the ball game, 0 for 2. With a fly out to right and a pop out to first. First pitch from Sumption. Swung on, ball's flared high in the air to right. Jackson underneath it makes the catch. 1 pitch, 1 man up, 1 man as a defensive sub, Taylor.
Second baseman, number 7, Luke Keller.
Keller takes over for Taylor, who went 0 for 2 with a line out to left and a strikeout. Here's his first pitch. Fastball high and away, 1-0. Sumption, great velocity on his fastball, which explains why he's got such a cannon in right field. Next pitch misses low and away, and it's 2-0. Sumption normally plays right field for the Hardhats. Every now and then in the 7 2/3 innings he's pitched, he's come in for a spot relief appearance, sometimes even a brief start. 2-0 pitch, a called strike on a fastball at the knees. It's 2-1. Sumption wasting no time. His 2-1 pitch is fouled and quickly evens the count at 2-2. Luke Keller, the new batter, in the 2 spot for the Sheridan Troopers. And here comes the 2-2 pitch. Caught him looking, strike 3. And there's out number 2. And the first strikeout in relief for Sumption. Here in the bottom of the 5th, that's going to bring us to Race Johnston. Hardhats with a 9-4 lead against the Troopers here in Game 1 of today's doubleheader. Here comes the first pitch to Johnston. Fastball misses low. It's 1-0. Johnston's 0 for 2 with a pair of groundouts to third. The DH this afternoon for the Troopers. Here comes the 1-0. Pitch is swung on, fouled, and it goes over our press box. And the count evens up now at a ball and a strike. Fifth. Here is his 1-2 pitch. That misses. The count will even up at 2-2. Innings at that. Good pitch. Swung on. Ball's lined over the head of Messenger and into left for a base hit. So a 2-out single from Johnston. And that will bring up Kellen Mentok. Mentok came in as a pinch runner for Jacob Boynt. Boynt went 1 for 2 with a double and a run scored on an error. Here's Mentok's first pitch. Swung on, ball's lined into right field. That drops for a base hit. Jackson in to field it. And everybody will only advance 1 base. So Johnston moves to scoring position, back-to-back 2-out singles. As Mentok now registers 1. That'll bring us to Aiden Roush, the new first baseman, Caleb Keller. He comes in for Aiden Roush. Roush went 1 for 2 with a single and a run scored. First pitch is fouled off by Keller. 0-1. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Hardhats are up 9-4 against the Sheridan Troopers. Game 1 of their doubleheader this afternoon. From lovely Sheridan, Wyoming. Sumption takes his time. A double take to second. 0-1 pitch misses low. Stevens gets the stop though. And it's 1-1. Ball and a strike now to Caleb Keller. Quinn McCafferty on deck. All 3 subs listed on the lineup card have been used for the Troopers. Next pitch, flared high in the air to center. King underneath it makes the catch, and that will end the bottom half of the 5th. The Hardhats don't allow a run on just a pair of hits with no errors charged to them and 2 men left on the base path, 1 in scoring position. We have played 5 innings of baseball here, and the Hardhats' 9-4 lead is still intact. We'll take a step aside, folks. We'll be right back with the top of the 6th and the DH Cooper Bowman to lead off for the Hardhats here on ESPN Rapid City and Hardhats-TV. Caden Sargent steps back on the mound for the Sheridan Troopers to start off the top of the 6th. Some chatter up here in the scorer's box. He's at 91 pitches right now. And he's going to take on Cooper Bowman, Jack Sorensen, and Holden Jackson. 3, 4, and 5 in the order to kick off the top of the 6th. Post 22, a 9-4 lead over the Sheridan Troopers here in Game 1 of 2 to be played today. Hardhats with 9 runs on 11 hits with 2 errors in the field. First pitch, and Bowman's first pitch goes low and away, 1-0. Bowman is 2 for 3 with a double, a single, and a pair of runs scored. Sheridan on the other side of things, 4 runs on 6 hits with an error in the field through 5 innings. Sargent's 1-0 is fouled, and the count evens up at 1-1 now for Bowman. Mark Benetti alongside you here on ESPN Rapid City, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM. And as always, we're streamed live on the internet on Hardhats-TV. Hardhats, a doubleheader against the Troopers today before they begin the world-famous Firecracker Tournament in Rapid City. Bowman's 1-1 pitch is a fastball at his letters. 2-1 now the count. Bowman, Sorensen, and Jackson slated to hit in that order. 2-1 pitch misses low to Bowman. It'll be 3 balls and a strike to the Hardhats shortstop, who is 2 for 3 on the afternoon. And here's the 3-1. Pitch is ripped foul. Right field side and into the bullpen. And now the count to Bowman goes full at 3-2. Full count here for Sargent against Bowman. Takes his time, full windup. Here's the payoff to Bowman. Swung on and missed, strike 3. There's K number 4 for Sargent in the start. 1 up, 1 down for the Hardhats on offense. Now brings us to Jack Sorensen, the first baseman. Sorensen is 1 for 3 with 3 ribbies on the day. RBI ground out and an RBI double that knocked in 2 runs. Also has a run scored himself, and the first pitch buzzes the tower high and inside, 1-0. Ball and no strikes the count. And here's a 1-0. Fastball called strike on the outside corner. It's 1-1. You know, for having thrown almost 100 pitches, Sargent's velocity is still there. I think he's running on fumes at this point. He's about to throw number 100. Here comes his 1-1. Called strike. Fastball on the outside corner at Sorensen's knees. It's 1-2. Ball and 2 strikes. He's looking for back-to-back Ks. Number 5 on the start. And the 1-2 hits him. And that's the second time he's hit a batter on a 2-strike count. And Sorensen will take his free pass to first. 1 out and a man on now brings us to Holden Jackson. Jackson is 2 for 3 with a triple and a double. Both of them have knocked in a run. He's a single and a home run away from the cycle. Sorensen leads. First pitch skips low, and Sorensen's going to take second as it gets away from Nelson, the catcher. So Sorensen on the pass ball advances to scoring position. It'll be a 1-0 count here to Holden Jackson. Sargent looks to second. 1-0 pitch. Called strike, a fastball, and Jackson knew it. 1-1. One ball, 1 strike the count. And the pitch is a breaking ball low. Sorensen does not take third. Nelson with a nice block behind the plate. It's 2-1. 2 balls and a strike to count now to Holden Jackson. And here is the 2-1. Pitch is fouled to the backstop. To the meshing of the backstop, I should say. 2-2. Todd Stevens is in the on-deck circle for the Hardhats. 2 balls, 2 strikes to count here to Jackson. 1 out and a man on second, top of the 6th. 2-2, swung on, and that ball is hit to McCaffrey at short, and it's under his glove, and in a left for a base hit. Rounding third, heading home is Sorensen, and the throw is in time. And Sorensen called out going home. Holden Jackson gets a single. He'll advance to second on the throw. But Sorensen called out at home. He wasn't happy about it, but that was a great throw from Mentok in left field. 2 outs now with a man on second here in the top of the sixth. Still a 9-4 Hardhats lead. And that'll bring us to Todd Stevens. Stevens 0 for 2 with a hit by pitch and a run scored. And first pitch. Swung on, and that ball's lined in the air to left, and that's going to drop for a base hit. It goes off the green monster in left and all the way to Mentok fielding. Because of the bounce, he was able to get a good throw in, and Stevens is only allowed to take first. So it's a 2-out RBI single for the Hardhat backstopper, and the Hardhats lead is now 10-4 here in the top of the sixth. Alex Weaver now comes up. Or no, Drew Messer's going to take his spot. Drew Messer will take over for Alex Weaver. Most likely will play left field. Unless they stick him in right and move Jackson to left. First pitch to Messer. Misses outside. It's 1-0. Drew Messer takes over for Alex Weaver. In the batting order. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Swung on and just fouled. And the count evens up to a ball and a strike. Messer on the season still looking for his first hit as a Hardhat. This is only the 6th game in which he's taken swings. He's 0 for 4 in 7 plate appearances. Ball and a strike is count. And Sargent deals. Breaking ball outside, 2-1. Sargent just threw his 110th pitch, by the way. If he comes out in the 7th, I'll be insanely shocked. 2 balls and a strike to count with 2 outs here in the 6th. Next pitch is swung on, and that ball's hit high in the air to left center field. And on the run, making the catch from center is Jaron Brewer, and that is going to end the top half of the 6th. 2 runs, 2 hits, no errors charged to the Troopers, and a man left on first. We've played 5.5 innings, and the Hardhats now have an 11-4 lead. We'll take a step aside and come right back with the bottom half of the 6th here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. I had a scoring error to worry about. I apparently read my scorebook wrong, and I also write it in incorrectly. I had 2 runs in the inning. There was actually 1 run scored on 2 hits. And the Hardhats lead is 10-4, not 11-4. So now that that's cleared up, we go to the bottom half of the 6th inning. And Zach Sumption will face 6, 7, and 8 in the order. Quinn McCaffrey, the shortstop. Austin Borzinski, the third baseman. And Justice Reese, the right fielder. Mark Benetti alongside you here on ESPN Rapid City, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM. Hardhats with a 10-4 lead coming into the bottom half of the 6th. And Zach Sumption ready to rock in his 2nd inning of relief. McCaffrey's 1 for 2. RBI single and a ground out to third under his belt in this game. First pitch from Sumption is ripped foul right field side and into the fencing just shy of the Hardhats bullpen. 0-1 the count here to McCaffrey. Bottom of the 6th, the Hardhats up 10-4. There's the 0-1 pitch. Fastball called strike on the outside corner. 0-2. Sump looking for that second strikeout. 0-2 pitch, missed inside. Ball and 2 strikes now from Sumption to McCafferty. And now here comes the 1-2 from Sumption. Just missed inside again on a breaking ball, 2-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Sumption to McCafferty. And that pitch skips for ball 3. And what was an 0-2 count is now quickly a full one. The Hardhats just passed an hour and 30 minutes of this ball game. Payoff pitch is ripped into right. Jackson can't make the catch. It drops in front of him for a base hit. McCafferty now 2 for 3 with a pair of singles, and he leads off the bottom of the 6th with one of them. And that's going to bring us to the third baseman, Austin Borzinski. Borzinski's 0 for 1, hit by a pitch, came in to score a run, and struck out. First pitch, upstairs, 1-0. Ball and no strikes the count from Sumption to Borzinski with a man on first. No one out here in the bottom of the 6th. 10-4 Hardhats lead. 1-0 pitch is a off-speed pitch up high. It's 2-0. 2 balls, no strikes. And the pitch. Called strike, a fastball at his knees. 2-1. 2-1 to Borzinski. McCafferty leads off at first. No outs here in the bottom of the 6th. The Hardhats up 6. Next pitch is over his head to make the count 3-1. Sumption running into a few control issues here right off the hop. Started off great. Got a foul ball and then a strike for an 0-2 against McCafferty. Hasn't hit much of the zone since. Next pitch is swung on and missed, and the count goes full to Borzinski. 3 straight balls, and then the hit from McCafferty, and then now full count here. And the next pitch is swung on, hit to second. Stops made by Messenger. Shoveled to second for 1. Elliott to first for 2, and he got it. A 6-4-3 double play. And there are 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. And that's going to bring up Justice Reese, the right fielder. Reese is 1 for 2 with a double and a run scored. Here is the first pitch. Fastball outside, 1-0. If Reese is the final out, then the Hardhats will go to Elliott, Messenger, and King, barring any substitutions, in the final inning. Here's a 1-0 pitch. Called strike, fastball inside at the knees. It's 1-1. Hardhats are up 10-4 in game 1 of the doubleheader. Next pitch skips low and away. It's 2-1 now. Justice Reese. Two balls and a strike. And Sumption deals. Upstairs, 3-1 now to Reese. 2 outs and an empty base path for him. And here is the 3-1 to Reese. And that's low and away, ball 4. Sumption surrenders his first walk of relief. It comes with 2 outs, keeps the inning going, and that's going to bring up Dalton Nelson, the catcher. Lefty comes up with a man on first here in the bottom of the 6th. His team down 10-4. Sumption from the stretch. First pitch. Misses low. A fastball. It's 1-0. Ball and no strikes the count. Sumption check to first. Not there in time. And back safely is Reese. 1-0 to Nelson. Fouled off. Third base side out of play, and the count evens up at a ball and a strike. One and 1 the count. Sumption looking to get out of the bottom of the 6th here. Team up 10-4. Next pitch swung on, and it's hit to third. Stops made by Bachman. Throw to first in time, and that's going to end it. They call it the hot corner for a reason, and Ryan Bachman with a tremendous stop at third ends the bottom half of the 6th. No runs on a hit with no errors charged to the Hardhats and a man left on first. We've played 6 innings of baseball. Hardhats trying to seal the deal in Game 1. They have an inning to seal their 10-4 lead for a win. We'll take a step aside and come right back with the top of the 7th and Tyson Elliott to lead off for the Hardhats here on ESPN Rapid City and Hardhats-TV. Gage Sargent is no longer on the mound for the Sheridan Troopers. Taking over now is Austin Borzinski. Borzinski comes in after Sargent threw 111 pitches, struck out 4. He ended up walking 3. And he gave up 10 runs, in which only 9 were earned. Sargent almost went the distance. He went 6 innings and gave up 13 hits in the process. Borzinski's going to take over on the mound. Luke Keller moves over to third, and the designated hitter, Race Johnston, comes in to play second. So Borzinski will take on Tyson Elliott, Mason Messenger, and then back to the top to Connor King. You're in the top half of the 7th. Mark Benetti alongside you here on ESPN Rapid City, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM, and as always, stream live on the internet on Hardhats-TV. 10 runs on 13 hits with 2 errors for the Hardhats. And on the other side for the Troopers, it's 4 runs on 7 hits with 1 error. As we come into the final inning of regulation. Tyson Elliott, 1 for 2, a sac bunt, a bunt hit, and a strikeout. Borzinski, first pitch. Called strike. Breaking ball at the knees of Elliott. It's 0-1. No balls and a strike. Borzinski from the stretch again. 0-1 pitch. Too far inside. Oh, called strike. And at the inside corner, 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes to count from Borzinski. And he deals. Breaking ball is fouled. And Elliott stays alive. No balls, 2 strikes. Borzinski looking for his first strikeout on his first batter faced in relief. 0-2. Swung on. Ball's lined into right field. That's going to drop for a base hit. Elliott back-to-back singles for him. A bunt single and 1 lined into right. That's going to bring up Mason Messenger with a man on first and no one out here in the top of the 7th. Final inning, the Hardhats up 10-4. Borzinski checks the man at first. First pitch. Called strike. Fastball inside. 0-1 to Messenger. Brzezinski from the stretch. 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball is popped high in the air. Right to short. McCafferty backtracking into the grass, and he makes a catch for out number 1. 1 down with a man on first for the Hardhats, and back to the top of the order we go now to Connor King. King's 0 for 2. Grounded into a fielder's choice and struck out. He walked twice, stole a base, and scored once. Elliott leads off at first with 1 out here in the top of the 7th, and King's first pitch is a called strike on a breaking ball outside corner. 0-1. Check to first, not there in time, and Elliott's back. Still waiting on that second pitch to King. 0-1 is count with 1 out here in the top of the 7th. And the Hardhats up 10-4. 0-1 pitch is fouled, and that goes out of play over the Sheridan dugout. 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes. And here's the 0-2. Just missed high and inside on the breaking ball, and it's 1-2 now to King. Elliott on first. 1 out here in the top of the 7th. Hardhats up 10-4. King looking for his first hit of the ballgame. Here's a 1-2 from Brzezinski. And that's fouled. Not caught. It was almost fouled into the glove. King stays alive, a ball and 2 strikes. Elliott leads off at first again. And now time is called. Brzezinski took a while to get that sign, and King stepped out. Back to it we go. Ball and 2 strikes to King. And Brzezinski's pitch. Caught him looking. Strike 3. There's his first strikeout in relief for out number 2. At the top of the 7th, the fastball caught King frozen at his knees. Ryan Bachman now comes up. Quite possibly the last out for the Hardhats. He's 2 for 3 with a pair of singles, a walk, pair of runs scored, and he also hit into an inning-ending double play in the 5th and looks at a first pitch called strike. 0-1. Austin Brzezinski in relief of Caden Sargent. Looking to end this. Runner goes. Next pitch, a called strike on a breaking ball. Throw to second is in time. That's going to end the inning. Tyson Elliott caught stealing second. And that ends the top half of the 7th. Hardhats have no runs on a hit with no errors and nobody left on the base path. We have played 6.5 innings of regulation, and the Hardhats are 3 outs away from taking game 1 in the doubleheader. We'll be right back with the bottom of the 7th and the top of the Troopers' order slated to hit here on ESPN Rapid City and Hardhats-TV. Coach Torvey has elected to go to his lefty now to conclude the ball game. Zach Cholis now coming out. And he takes over for Zach Sumption, who went just a pair of innings, allowed 3 hits but 0 runs. Struck out 1 and walked 1 on 35 pitches. So Cholis out to finish this one. Cholis comes in his 8th appearance of the season. This is his first in relief. 26 2/3 innings of work under his belt. He has a 3-1 record as well, with a 2.36 ERA, 39 strikeouts to 20 walks. And he'll take on the top of the order here in the final inning. Bottom half of the final inning, I should say. Brewer, Keller, and Johnston. First pitch from Cholis is a fastball inside for ball 1. Brewer 0 for 3. 2 flyouts to right and a pop out to first. Here's his 1-0. Fastball, called strike, inside corner. It's 1-1. Just started the bottom half of the 7th. 1-1 from Cholis. Too far inside. 2 balls and a strike. Skipped all the way to the backstop, too. Luke Keller on deck. 0 for 1 with a strikeout. In the hole, Race Johnston, 1 for 3. Next pitch, swung on, ball's hit to second. Elliott, a nice stop to his right. Throw to first in time. Route number 1. Tyson Elliott looking good at second base today. And he gets out number 1. That'll bring up Luke Keller. Keller again 0 for 1 with a backwards K. The only strikeout that Zach Sumption issued in relief. First pitch from Cholis. Swung on and missed. Fastball upstairs, 0-1. Base path empty here for Keller with 1 out, bottom of the 7th. Hardhats 2 outs away from taking game 1. 0-1, swung on and missed on a low fastball, and it's 0-2. Cholis looking for his 40th strikeout of the year on this next pitch. Here is the 0-2. Breaking ball high and away, and it's 1-2. Ball and 2 strikes to count. And 1-2. Swung on, ball's hit again to second. Elliott charges it, gets the stop between his legs. Throw to first in time for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down for the Hardhats on defense, and out away from taking game 1, and that'll bring up Race Johnston, the second baseman. Johnston was the DH, came in to play second when Borzinski came from third to relieve on the mound. And then Luke Keller moved over to third. First pitch to Johnston, just missed on the off-speed pitch outside. It's 1-0. Johnston's 1 for 3. 2 groundouts to third, and then he singled the last time he was up in the bottom of the 5th. Came with 2 outs. 1-0 pitch, low and inside, 2-0. Just about 30 minutes following the conclusion of this game, Hardhats and the Troopers will square off in a rematch. 2-0. Pitch is fouled over our press box. 2 balls and a strike. That bounces in the parking lot. 2-1. And Cholis deals a 2-1 pitch upstairs. 3 balls and a strike now, the count to Johnston. Empty base path and 2 outs. He's the last man standing for the Troopers as of right now. 3 balls and a strike. And the pitch swung on and fouled again. And the count will go full at 3-2. Johnston steps back in. The lefty winds up. Here's the payoff pitch. Swung on, ball's hit high in the air to shallow left center. King trots in, makes the catch, and that will do it. Oh, the Hardhats end up taking the first game in the doubleheader. with a final score of 10-4. 10 runs on 14 hits, a pair of errors for the Hardhats, 4 runs, 7 hits, an error for the Sheridan Troopers. Great game played by the Hardhats to start off this doubleheader. Not too many mistakes that they made. Good to see that they built off of the momentum they created for themselves in Omaha. 1 hour and 52-minute game here for game one of the doubleheader, so they will reset the field. Big story of the afternoon here for the Hardhats was Troy Wilhelm making his post-22 debut. And in his debut, he went 4 innings, allowed 4 runs on 4 hits. He struck out a pair, hit a batter, and did it on 71 pitches. So a good afternoon of work for him. His first look at the varsity Hardhat level. Zach Sumption, another great 2 innings of relief. Jack Cholas, no hits in the only inning of relief that he had in the 14 pitches he threw. Post-22, though, they got on a great roll in the second, third, and fourth innings to really build their lead to 10-4 and never really looked back. Got to credit Sheridan, though, because they did come within striking distance in the bottom of the third. Hardhats gave up a pair of runs on 2 hits. A pair of runs on a hit with an error. And it was 4-2 going into the fourth inning, and that's when the Hardhats led off for 5 runs on 4 hits with an error helping them out as well. So good stuff from the Hardhats here in game one. We will take a step aside, folks, and when we come back, we'll be all set for game 2 as they reset the field and we get reshuffled lineups. Right now, we'll send you back to normal ESPN programming and be back in roughly a half an hour here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. All set now for game number 2 of today's doubleheader, featuring the host Sheridan Troopers and your Post 22 Hardhats. Thanks again so much for joining us for game 2 of doubleheader action today from Sheridan, Wyoming. Mark Benetti alongside you here on ESPN Rapid City, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM. The Troopers are about to take the field to start off the top half of the first inning, with your Hardhats once again starting off the ball game on the sticks. So let's briefly run down the lineups for both teams for you before we get set up with doubleheader action here. The Hardhats have practically a completely different lineup, and the Troopers have a couple of guys mixed around the order and a couple of people that didn't start in game 1 starting in batting in the top halves of our 7 innings. Leading off is number 17, Todd Stevens. He is patrolling left field. Batting second, number 10, Ryan Bachman. He's in the hot corner at third base. Batting third is number 30, Jace Caldwell, out at first, inserted in the lineup for game 2. In the cleanup spot playing right field is number 15, Zach Sumption. He came in relief in game 1. Batting Bolden Jackson, serving as the designated hitter. Batting number 19, making his Hardhats debut, Colton Hartford, playing at the Messenger, and he is playing at second base. On the mound, also making his varsity debut, is number 30. Previously with the Expos, 7 a 1-1 record and 14 innings. Taylor back out at second base. Batting third is number 4, Race Johnson, playing the catcher position as opposed to whose right arm is on the mound as the starting pitcher. Batting fifth is number 6, Eden Roush, playing at first base. Batting sixth is number 10, Quinn McCafferty. He's leadoff spot all the way to 9. Still patrolled 5 of them by virtue of a start, a 1-1 record, and 14 innings of work under his belt. He has a 6.5 ERA with 18 strikeouts, making his Hardhats debut behind home plate. At first is Jace Caldwell. Second is Mason Messenger. At shortstop, also making his Hardhats debut, is Colton Hartford. And in the hot corner at third is Ryan Bachman. Left to right in the outfield, Todd Stevens, Drew Messer, and Zach Sumption. So here comes Kellen Mentok to lead off for the Troopers. Mentok came in to pinch hit and pinch run in game 1. And his first pitch from Arnold misses inside for ball 1. Mentok went 1 for 1 pinch hitting and played in left field. Here's his 1-0. And the next one misses low and away. 2 balls, no strikes from Arnold. Bottom half of the first inning, no runs, no hits by any team. 2-0 from Arnold to Mentok. Swung on, ball's chopped right up the middle. That's time. Oh my goodness, that one was close for comfort. And somehow Mason Messenger barely pulled off the throw, and Caldwell kept his foot on first. And that's going to bring up Eric Taylor without an empty base path here for the Troopers in the bottom of the first. First pitch, swung on, and 0-1 the count. And here's the Arnold. Swung on, ball's hit to second. Messenger gets the stop and the throw to first. No doubt about this one, in time for out number 2. Quickly 2 up, 2 down for the Hard defense, and that'll bring us to Race Johnson line off the end of the bat. 0-1 now to Johnston. Pitch. Just misses low. Arnold looking to fight back with a 1-2-3 inning of his own against. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Swung on, center. Coming in from second is Messenger. He gives way to Messer, who comes in from center to make the catch. So you didn't need to tell me that twice. I'm coming out. No ifs, ands, or buts. July 9th, I know exactly where I'm going to be. And I would hope that all of you would be there to join us as well. The guys even dress up in bow ties and cummerbunds. You got to be a part of the pageantry of the whole thing. As I say in the business, fun times will be had by all. July 9th, dining at the Diamond. Pasta dinner, can't go wrong with it. Sumption, Jackson, and Messer slated to hit for the Hardhats here in the top of the second. 0-0 across the board for both teams. No runs, hits, or errors as we head into the second frame. First pitch to Assumption, swung on, balls hit high in the air to left center, and coming in from center is Brewer to his right to make the catch. One pitch, one up, one down. 2 innings in a row for the Hardhats, and that'll bring up Holden Jackson, serving as the DH. Jackson played in right field in game 1, and he went 3 for 4. He was a home run shy of the cycle. 2 ribbies and a run scored for him. And here's Boynt's first pitch to Jackson. That's a breaking ball called strike. 0-1 the count. Couldn't even give you Zach Assumption statistics. If you blinked, you missed his at-bat. Here's the 0-1. Pitch is too far inside to Jackson, and the count evens up at 1-1. Jackson comes in 372 into game 2, and he swings and misses at his 1-1 pitch. 1-2 now the count to the Hardhat DH. 16 hits on the year, 3 doubles and a triple, on top of a dozen singles. Ball and 2 strikes the count. Boynt looking for his second strikeout, and the 1-2 is fouled, and Jackson stays alive. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. Boynt to full windup, and here's the 1-2. Breaking ball swung on, lined right to second, and caught by Eric Taylor for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down now for the Hardhats again, and this will bring up Drew Messer, the center fielder. Drew Messer came in to pinch hit for Alex Weaver and went 0 for 1 with a fly out to center. Messer on the year, still looking for his first hit as a Hardhat. First pitch, misses low, a fastball, and it's 1-0. Messer is 0 for 5 in 8 plate appearances. And the next pitch is chopped foul, third base side. His count will leave it up at a ball and a strike. He's only walked once, has not struck out on the year. Ball and a strike his count. Boynt steps back on the rubber. Messer back into the right-handed batter's box. And here's the 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball called strike. From Boynt, it's 1-2. Boynt's breaking ball working early here against the Hardhats. He's about to throw his 10th pitch of the frame as well. Here comes the 1-2 to Messer. Pitch is swung on. Ball's hit to second. Taylor's there on the run. Throw to first is low. Scooped, though, by Roush. And it's in time for the final out. Back-to-back innings, the Hardhats go down 1-2-3, which we all know means no runs, hits, errors, or anybody left on base. 1.5 frames in the books, and we're still in a scoreless deadlock in Game 2 between the Troopers and the Hardhats. We'll take a step aside and come right back with a bottom of the second. The Heart of the Troopers order due up here on ESPN Rapid City and Hardhats-TV. Post 22 Hardhats baseball here on ESPN Rapid City is presented by Courtesy Subaru, by Shields, Qdoba Mexican Eats, Renewal by Anderson, Sicky's Garage Burgers and Brews, the Mustang Disaster Cleanup, and the Man Salon. Straight zeros across the board for both teams, the Troopers and the Hardhats here in Game 2 of the doubleheader, as we now head into the bottom half of the second inning with the cleanup hitter, Jacob Boynt, the starting pitcher, slated to hit. Mark Benetti alongside you here on ESPN Rapid City, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM. Isaac Arnold, first pitch to Boynt, flared high in the air to left field. Underneath it is Todd Stevens, and he makes the catch for out number 1. Boynt, the lefty, in Game 1 went 1 for 2 and then was substituted by Kellen Mentok. And his lone hit was a double that came in his second at-bat. So 1 pitch, 1 up, 1 down. That's going to bring up Roush, the first baseman. Roush played first base in the other game as well. His first pitch from Arnold, a called strike on a fastball outside corner, and it's 0-1. Roush in Game 1 also went 1 for 2 before being substituted by Caleb Keller. His lone hit was a single, and he also came to score a run. Arnold's 0-1 pitch, another called strike. 0-2 now, looking for his first strikeout as a varsity pitcher. Here comes his 0-2. Swung on, ball's chopped to short. Stops made on the play by Hartford, and the throw to first is in time for out number 2. Colton Hartford getting the nod at shortstop here in game 2. Nice natural play for him. 2 up, 2 down for the Hardhats on defense, and that'll bring us to Quinn McCafferty, Hartford's shortstop counterpart. McCafferty went 2 for 3 with a ribby single in game 1, and he looks at ball 1 to start off his count. 2 outs and an empty base path for McCafferty here in the bottom of the second, still scoreless. 1-0 from Arnold, called strike. The swing was checked by McCafferty, but it was still a strike anyway, so 1-1 the count. And Arnold's 1-1 pitch. Misses low and away, 2 balls and a strike. Arnold very quick, very deliberate on the mound. Gets the ball, he knows what he wants to do next and just does it. Here's the 2-1 pitch. That skips low, and the count will go to 3 balls and a strike to McCafferty. Isaac Arnold, a very, very tall young gentleman as well. Makes me look like a dwarf. 3-1 pitch. Called strike on the outside corner. And the count goes full now from Arnold to McCafferty. Full windup, payoff pitch for Arnold. Swung on, and the ball is chopped foul, third base side, and he stays alive. He's about to throw his 11th pitch of the frame. Looking for another 1-2-3 inning. Payoff number 2. Swung on, ball's lined into center field. That's going to drop in front of Messer for a base hit. First hit of the ball game for the Troopers. First hit for either side. A 2-out single to McCafferty, and that'll bring up Justice Reese, the right fielder. Reese also played right field in game 1. He batted in the 8th spot, and he went 1 for 2 with a double, a run scored, and a walk. First pitch from Arnold, called strike on a fastball inside. 0-1. Reese with McCafferty on first and 2 outs in the bottom of the second. Hardhats and the Troopers in a scoreless deadlock. Check to first, not there in time, and back safely was McCafferty. No balls and a strike to count. And Arnold deals to Reese. It hits him. That one nailed him right in the small of his back there. And so a 2-out hit by pitch will advance McCafferty to scoring position and put Reese on the base path. That'll bring us to Austin Borzinski. Borzinski has a chance to make the Hardhats pay for that 2-out mistake. Borzinski playing at third base again. In game 1, he went 0 for 2, hit by a pitch, scored a run, struck out, granted into a double play, and he came into relief as well. Went 1 inning in relief and allowed a hit with no runs. First pitch, too far inside, 1-0. Great velocity, though, by Arnold, and a lot of that has to do with his height. It's almost Nolan Ryan-esque, where he was so tall that his stride just gave him so much power behind his pitch. Arnold looks around the diamond at first and second. 1-0 pitch, swung on and missed. Low fastball evens up the count at 1-1 now to Borzinski. Borzinski has McCafferty, the most immediate threat on the base path, on second, and Reese on first. 2 outs here in a scoreless bottom of the second. 1-1 pitch. Called strike, a fastball right at the knees of Borzinski, and it's 1-2. Arnold's first strikeout as a Hardhat would end the jam if it comes on the next pitch. Arnold, 1-2. Breaking ball, swung on, chopped right back to the mound. Arnold fields it, tossed to first in time, and that'll end it. Well, the Hardhats escape unscathed. No runs on a hit, no errors, and 2 men left on the base path. The first run, potentially, of the game in scoring position. We have played 2 innings of baseball, and the Hardhats and the Troopers are still deadlocked at zeros in game 2 of their doubleheader. We'll take a step aside and come right back with the top of the third and the bottom third of the Hardhats order, starting with Colton Hartford to lead us off here on ESPN Rapid City and Hardhats-TV. Only one hit between both of these teams. It belongs to the home side Sheridan Troopers. Isaac Arnold in that second inning went 17 pitches, ran into a little bit of trouble, but he got out of it. And now has passed the torch off to his offense, starting off with Colton Hartford, followed by Thomas McGuire and then Mason Messenger. 7, 8, and 9 due up for the Hardhats. Mark Benetti alongside you here on ESPN Rapid City, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM, and as always streamed on Hardhats-TV. Game 2 of doubleheader action today between the Troopers and the Hardhats here from Sheridan, Wyoming. It looks like we already have our first substitution as Luke Keller will come in to right field for Justice Reese. Must be an injury of some sort, I would imagine. I'm not too sure. Here comes Colton Hartford. His first plate appearance as a Hardhat against Jacob Boyne. First pitch is ripped high in the air to right field, and that ball is going to go foul just by a couple of feet. 0-1 the count to Hartford. Thought he flared an opposite field hit. Hartford with the Expos batting .389 on the season, 28 for 72 on the year. 25 singles, a pair of doubles, and 1 triple playing with the Expos. No balls and a strike is count to lead off the top of the third. And the next pitch, a called strike from Boynt, and quickly he's behind 0-2. Thomas McGuire following him on deck. And the 0-2. Swung on, ball is lined over right into the glove of Eric Taylor. That's the second time that he's had a liner come his way. 1 up, 1 down for the Hardhats. That's going to bring us to Thomas McGuire. McGuire batting 1,000th of a percentage point under Hartford on the Expos order. Batting .388 with the Expos. Here's his first pitch. Breaking ball, called strike by Boynt. 0-1. Boynt's breaking ball working to perfection through the first 3 innings here. 0-1 pitch. Check swing, and he went. And the count goes no balls, 2 strikes. And Boynt's 0-2 to McGuire is high. High fastball, 1-2. Boynt looking for his second K. And right back to it. 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball low and away, and McGuire doesn't offer. 2-2. Mason Messenger on deck. Post 22, still in a scoreless deadlock with the Troopers here in the top of the third. 2-2 pitch, swung on, ball's hit high in the air. Right at home plate, and making the catch is Race Johnston for out number 2. Made it right on home plate. 2 up, 2 down for the Hardhats will now bring us to Mason Messenger, the second baseman. Messenger in game 1 for the Hardhats went 1 for 4 with an RBI, a single, and a strikeout. He comes up with 2 outs here in the top of the third, and both the Hardhats and the Troopers still knotted up at zeros. First pitch from Boynt. Called strike. Fastball in the low outside corner. It's 0-1. And here's the 0-1 to Messenger. And that's a breaking ball outside. Ball and a strike. 1-1 pitch here to Messenger. Pitch is swung on, flared foul. Down the first base side and out of play. 1-2 now to Messenger. An empty base path and 2 outs here in the top of the third. Hardhats and the Troopers still scoreless. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. That's high and inside, and the count will even up, 2-2. Here comes Boynt's 2-2 to Messenger. Pitch is swung on, and that's flared into right field. That's going to drop fair for a base hit. And Messenger's going to hang on at first with the first hit of the ball game for post 22. A 2-out single pushed opposite field. And that'll bring us back to the top of the order to Todd Stevens with a man on and 2 outs here in the top of the third. Nice piece of hitting there by Messenger. Just threw his hands at the ball, went opposite field. He fouled down the first baseline a couple of times. And was able to land that one just inside the line. Stevens 0 for 1 in the ball game with a pop out to second. Will have to wait on his first pitch as a check comes to first and Messenger's back safely. Popped out on the very first pitch of the ball game. Stevens steps back in. Boink to look over to first, and Messenger takes his lead. First pitch, swung on, balls hit to third, right off of Borzinski, and the ball goes all the way to foul territory. Borzinski may have taken that one off the head as Messenger goes to third and Stevens into second. That was a screamer to third. And Borzinski's trying to shake it off. He looks all right. Coach Torvey out there, he's concerned for the young man. It was such a fast play. I can't recall if it went off of his glove or off the bill of his hat even, but that was a shot. And that's why they call it the hot corner in third. Ransom, the traveling trainer for the Hardhats, coming out to have a quick look at him. Ransom's actually from Sheridan, and it was funny. He was on the bus telling us as we were passing all these Little League fields how many times he had played Little League baseball on some of these fields. So cool to see him come back home. And he's having a quick look at Borzinski as well. So Stevens on third with the hot shot of a double to the corner. And it went off of Borzinski and into foul territory, and that's how Messenger, with 2 outs especially, you're going on contact, so you know at least Messenger was going to take 2 bases. Looks like Borzinski's going to shake it off, and he comes back to his position with raucous applause. Stevens taking second, though. It looked like it was going to be a bit of a close one, but Mentok had so much distance to cover coming in from left to field the ball because Borzinski was shaken up at the time. So now here comes Bachman with 2 men in scoring position and 2 outs here in the top of the third. And his first pitch is outside, a fastball. It's 1-0. Bachman's 0 for 1 also with a pop out to second. First 2 innings plus just about the first 3 innings here. The Eric Taylor show at second. 2 pop outs, 2 line outs. Here's the 1-0 to Bachman. Pitch is swung on it. That ball's hit high in the air to left. Mentok is coming towards the line, and he's able to make the catch. And that'll end the inning and the Hardhats' threat. No runs on 2 hits with no errors and 2 men stranded in scoring position. We've played 2.5 frames of baseball, and the Troopers and the Hardhats are still scoreless. We'll head now to the bottom of the third with the 9-hole hitter, Jaron Brewer, to lead off for Sheridan here in just a few moments on ESPN Rapid City and Hardhats-TV. Jaron Brewer leads off for Sheridan here in the bottom half of the third inning. Still 2-0s on either side of the scoreboard as Isaac Arnold comes back on the mound for post 22 and deals ball 1 to kick off the inning. Brewer and then back to the top of the order to Mentok and Taylor. Brewer's 1-0 pitch. Called strike. Fastball at his knees, 1-1. Brewer led off in game 1, and he ended up going 0 for 4. 2 flyouts to right, a pop out to third, and a ground out to second. A lot of opposite field action for him as he looks at strike 2 at his knees. He's now behind Arnold, 1-2. And here's Isaac Arnold's 1-2 pitch. Just missed outside, a breaking pitch, and it's 2-2. Arnold's still looking for his first strikeout as a hard hat. Start off the bottom half of the third. Here is the 2-2 pitch. And that misses slow and away, and the count will go full. Full windup for Arnold. Here is the payoff pitch. Swung on, ball's hit to second. Stop is made by Messenger to his left. Throw to first to Caldwell is in time for out number 1. One down, and now that'll bring us to Kellen Mentok back at the top of the Sheridan order. Mentok 0 for 1 with a ground out to Messenger at second. First pitch, a fastball called strike. 0-1. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. And that hits him. Second hit batsman of the ball game for Arnold. This one comes with 1 out. And it'll bring us to Eric Taylor. Taylor also 0 for 1 with a ground out to second. He comes up with a man on first and 1 out here in the bottom of the third. Hardhats and the Troopers still in a scoreless deadlock. Arnold takes a look over to first. And the first pitch. Called strike. Fastball, it's 0-1 to Taylor. Mentok on first. Now takes his lead. Arnold looks over to first from the stretch. Here's his 0-1. Pitch is swung on and ripped foul into the grandstand. 0-2. That one screamed first base side. No balls, 2 strikes. Arnold still looking for that first strikeout as a varsity hard hat. And his 0-2 pitch misses low. Ball and 2 strikes. Man on first is looked at by Arnold. Here's the 1-2. Swung on, ball's hit high in the air, but foul territory and foul. Out of play. Still 1-2 to Eric Taylor, the second baseman of the Sheridan Troopers. Kellen Mentok on first with the hit by pitch. And Arnold's 1-2. Swung on, ball's hit to third. Bachman charges on the run. He's going to get the play at first, and the throw is in time for out number 2. Smart play by Bachman to try and not force the double play. He realized he didn't have a good beat at second. He had to charge, get the ball, and make a throw on the run. So good on him to get the 5-3 fielder's choice for out number 2. So Mentok moves to second. Race Johnston comes up now with a chance to give the Troopers their first lead of the day. They lost game 1 10-4 in a scoreless deadlock here. First pitch, called strike. Fastball outside corner from Arnold. It's 0-1. Mentok leads off a second. Arnold looking to end this threat as well. There's the 0-1 pitch. Upstairs, fastball, it's 1-1. 1-1 to Johnston, who is 0 for 1 with a pop-out to Drew Messer in center field. That ended a 1-2-3 bottom half of the first. Arnold takes his time looking in for a sign. Looks like he's agreed on one. A check to Mentok at second. And here's the 1-1 pitch. Called strike, a fastball, outside corner at the knees of Johnston. It's 1-2. Six 2-strike counts now for Arnold, still looking for that first K. It would end the inning if he got it. 1-2 pitch. Caught him looking, strike 3. And that will end the bottom half of the third. No runs, no hits, no errors, and a man stranded on second. We've played 3 innings of baseball in just under a half an hour. And the Hardhats and Troopers are still scoreless. One of the fastest baseball games I think I've been a part of, folks. We'll head to the top of the fourth. Still 2-0s on either side of the scoreboard here on ESPN Rapid City and Hardhats-TV. Fans, once again, don't forget about dining on the Diamond on July 9th. It's a pasta dinner. You can't say no to a pasta dinner. And the Post 22 players get to serve you. They wear bow ties and cummerbunds. You got to be a part of that. There is no other explanation needed. I'm half Italian, so biologically I can't say no to a pasta dinner, so I will be there on the 9th. And I hope you are all there to join us too. We're about to start off the top of the 4th inning, and Jace Caldwell leads off for the Hardhats. Boynton back on the mound for the Troopers, and he deals a first pitch strike on a breaking ball to the outside corner. Caldwell 0 for 1 with a backwards K in the book. It's the only strikeout Boynton has issued in this start. 0-1, pitch is swung on and hit to short. McCafferty gets the scoop, throw to first in time for out number 1. Caldwell now goes to 0-2 on the day. This will bring up Zach Sumption. Starting off the top half of the 4th inning, 1 out, and we're still scoreless. No runs on a hit, no errors for the Hardhats. No runs, a pair of hits. No runs, a pair of hits, no errors for the Hardhats. No runs, a hit, no errors for the Troopers. Sumption's first pitch hit in foul territory, and it'll go out of the reach of first baseman Aiden Roush. 0-1 the count to Sumption. Sumption flew out on his first pitch of the ball game, back in the top of the 2nd. To center field. Following Sumption is Holden Jackson, the DH. Game 2 of this doubleheader. Hardhats took game 1 10-4. Looking for the sweep. 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball swung on. That ball is pushed into right. That's going to drop for a base hit. It's going all the way to the warning track. Here comes Sumption rounding second. He's going to slam the brakes with the 2-bagger. So Sumption gets a 1-out single to try and get something started here for the Hardhats, and that'll bring up Holden Jackson, the DH, with a man in scoring position and 1 out here in the top of the 4th.
Now batting the DH, number 28, Holden Jackson.
Jackson 0 for 1 with a line out to second. It's pretty much defensively been the Eric Taylor show. 2 pop-outs, 2 line-outs. He's definitely earned his keep. Oh, and he assisted on a ground out too, so there's that. First pitch to Jackson. Swung on. Ball is hit high in the air. In shallow right. Taylor comes in from second, makes the catch. He gets a key second out. Sumption still standing on second. It'll bring up Drew Messer. Messer has a golden chance over here with a base hit to give the Hardhats their first lead of the ballgame. Messer still looking for his first hit as a Hardhat. Boy, is this a very important time for it to come. 2 outs and a man on second. First pitch, swung on, ball's hit to short. McCafferty gets the stop, throw to first is in time, and that will once again end the threat. No runs on a hit, no errors, and 1 man left on the base path in scoring position for the Hardhats. We've played half of regulation, game 2 of this doubleheader, and we are still in a scoreless deadlock. We'll take a step aside, folks, and come right back with a bottom of the 4th. And the heart of the order slated to hit for the Troopers. Starting off with the starting pitcher, Jacob Boynton. You're listening to Post 22 Hardhats Baseball on ESPN Rapid City and Hardhats-TV. All set now for the start of the second half of the ball game. Out of the bottom half of the 4th, a scoreless deadlock between the Troopers and the Hardhats. A much different story than game 1 of this doubleheader. Boynton, Roush, McCafferty, heart of the order, slated to hit against Isaac Arnold for a second. Eddie alongside you here on ESPN Rapid City and Hardhats-TV. Arnold's first pitch to Boynton is too far inside for ball 1. Boynton is 0 for 1 with a fly out to left. Second inning. Here's the 1-0. Fastball called strike at his belt. 1-1. This is the only mismatch, if you will, for Arnold, the righty on the mound to Boynt, the lefty at the plate. 1-1. Missed too far inside. 2-1. There is another lefty for the Troopers. That's Nelson, the catcher, but he's not in this lineup. Next pitch, a called strike. Surprisingly to see some small ball in this situation. I know it is the heart of the order, but you're in a 0-0 game. Both teams have already stranded 2 or more base runners in scoring position. We'll see what happens here on Roush's at-bat. He looks at a first pitch. He has Boynt standing on first with the leadoff walk. To the start, here's a 1-0 pitch. Called strike, a fastball right at the knees. Man on first now brings us to Quinn McCaffrey. 1-for-1 with the only hit of the ball game for the Troopers. Arnold's first pitch. Swung on, ball is chopped foul, third base side. But he starts behind 0-1. McCaffrey actually stepped further, took a full count. And got his base hit. 0-1. Pitch is swung on, and that ball is pushed into shallow right. That's going to drop for another hit. And McCaffrey is 2 for 2. Sumption almost handled the ball and was still able to recover and only limit everybody to one base. So McCaffrey gets a 1-out single. That puts men on first and second. And it's going to bring up Luke Keller, who comes in for Justice Reese. I've been told that Reese actually had to go to the emergency room for that hit by pitch he took off of his back. Fifth inning. You've heard me say it 4 other times, maybe even that. At the start of an inning, we're still scoring. Colton Hartford, Thomas McGuire, Mason Messenger slated. It's ridiculous. We still don't have a single run between both teams. Post 22, no runs on 3 hits with no errors. The Troop high to Colton Hartford. His post 22 debut at the varsity level is 0-for-1 with a pop out to the catcher. Second matchup against Boynt. First breaking ball, called strike on the outside. 1. Boynt with great command of that break pitch. Hardhats have to figure it out. Here comes fastball too far inside, and the count evens up at 1-1. The throw was 50th pitch. 1. Swung on and missed. Ball. Also his Hardhats debut. 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. And that's K number 2 for Boynt. 2 up, 2 down for the Hardhats. Once again brings us to Mason Messenger, who is 1-for-1 with a 2-out single, and that came in the exact same scenario, with the first 2 outs registered before him in succession, and then he came in to break it up. That was back in the top of the third. First pitch, a called strike, fastball outside corner at the knees. It's 0-1. And here comes the 0-1. Breaking ball. That's up high, 1-1. Base path empty for Messenger. 2 outs, top of the 5th inning. And his 1-1 pitch misses low, and it's 2 balls and a strike. At this point, can't believe we've gotten this far and we're still scoreless. Both teams have stranded a combined 6 runners in scoring position. Next pitch to Messenger is upstairs, a fastball, and now it's 3-1. Empty base path for Messenger, trying to keep this inning going for his Hardhats. And here is the 3-1 pitch. Swung on, ball's hit high in the air to center field. Brewer's underneath it, makes the catch, and that'll end it. 1-2-3 inning. With the Hardhats on offense, which as we all know means no runs, hits, errors, or anybody left on base. We've played 4.5 innings of baseball, and we still don't have a single run to talk about. We'll be right back with the bottom of the 5th inning, and the 9-hole hitter, Jaron Brewer, slated to hit for the Troopers here on ESPN Rapid City and Hardhats-TV. 4.5 innings. We don't have a single run scored. Where have you heard that one before? Post 22 and the Sheridan Troopers in a pitcher's duel right now. Isaac Arnold, 62 pitches through 4 innings and 1 strikeout. 2 hit batsmen, no walks though. And on the other side, Jacob Boynt with 2 strikeouts to his credit and no free passes at all. 5 combined hits between both teams, 6 combined runners in scoring position, stranded on the base path, 3 for each side. And now Jaron Brewer, the 9-hole hitter, will lead off this bottom half of the 5th. Mark Benetti alongside you here on ESPN Rapid City and Hardhats-TV. Game 2 of today's doubleheader action here in Sheridan, Wyoming. First pitch is swung on, lined over the head of Messenger and into right for a base hit. Jaron Brewer takes the first pitch that he sees and pushes it opposite field. Leadoff man is on for the Troopers, and that'll bring us back to the top of the order to Kellen Mentok, the left fielder. I said it before when the Troopers had a man on the base path, and now that we're at the top of the order, I wouldn't be surprised to see it, but small ball is probably going to make an appearance here soon. And there's the bunt on cue, and there it is, drop down the third baseline. Bachman the stop, and the throw's off track, and it goes into right field. And Sumption comes in to field it. They're going to send him home, and the throw is not there in time. A costly error for the Hardhats, and the Troopers strike first. It's 1-0. And Brewer scored all the way from first on the error. And Coach Torvey's wondering why they're allowing Mentok to take second here. Obstruction might be the call here, but the baseman's entitled to that space trying to get to the ball, even if it's thrown awry. That happens all the time. That's just a baseball play. Like, that's Coach Torvey's not having it, but it is what it is. So they're going to give Mentok second. A key error for the Hardhats here. First one of the ball game. And now Eric Taylor comes up with no outs and another man in scoring position to try and make something happen with the Troopers. Up 1-0 now. Caldwell's in on the grass from first, just in case there's a bunt situation again. And there's the bunt, and there it is, dropped. And no one covering first. And Arnold threw it with no one covering first. Another error for the Hardhats. Another run's going to come in, and taking second is Taylor. No one covered first. With Caldwell in on the grass, he came to charge for the bunt. Messenger didn't take it upon himself to take the bag. Another key miscue and an errant throw from Arnold. If Arnold hangs on to the ball, it's men on the corners with no one out. Instead, it's another man on second, no one out, and now you're down 2-0. And now here comes Race Johnston. Arnold's first pitch, high in the air to center. Messer underneath it, makes the catch. And he gets his relay in immediately to Hartford at short. Key first out there for the Hardhats. On the line out, still a man on second. It's going to bring us to Boynt. 2 costly mistakes for the Hardhats in this inning. And you got to hope that isn't what determines this game, but given how defensively minded it's been and how both pitchers have been, I wouldn't be surprised if those are the only 2 runs we have here, especially with 2 innings to go. Here's Boynt. His first pitch is upstairs for ball 1. There is action in the Hardhats bullpen. With Arnold still on the mound, he's at 67 pitches now after this next throw. Here's his 1-0 to Boynt. Too far inside, 2 balls, no strikes. Boynt is 0 for 1. He's already walked once. He's halfway there now for a second one. Flew out to left field, trying to go opposite field. The only lefty that Arnold has to face. Arnold looks to second. 2-0. Pitch is swung on, hit to first. Nice stop by Caldwell on the hop, and his throw to third is through the legs of Bachman, and it goes to the fence. And another run's going to come in on the throwing error. Taylor advanced to third and then came home when Caldwell's throw was off track. 3 errors in this inning for the Hardhats. As Boynton rounds out. 3 unassisted. It was a great defensive stop, and all Caldwell needed to do was hang on to the ball. And now it's an empty base path with 2 outs, and the Hardhats trail 3-0, and here comes Aiden Roush. And his first pitch is a fastball low and away for ball 1. Roush is 0 for 2 with a ground out to short and a line out to left. 1-0 his count. Arnold about to throw a 70th pitch. And that also misses low and away, 2-0. Hardhats need to stop the bleeding here and get right back to the sticks with the top of the order slated to hit in the top of the 6th. 2-0 pitch, rides upstairs for ball 3. 3-0 now to Roush. 3 unfortunate back-to-back-to-back miscues there for the I should say, interrupted by 1 at bat, but 3 errors and 4 are faced. 3-0 pitch. Called strike. Fastball outside corner at the belt. 3-1 now to Roush. 3 errors on 4 batters faced. Not going to win you ball games. 3-1, a fastball again at the belt. Right over the heart of the plate. Count goes full now. Arnold could really use that third strikeout, to get out of this. Here is his payoff pitch. Swung on, and that ball is hit high in the air to right field. Ball has some distance on it, and it just lands foul. And the count will hold full for Aiden Roush. Pitch number 75 about to come from Arnold. Isaac Arnold making his Hardhats debut. And here is payoff number 2. Caught him looking, strike 3, and that'll end it. And that ends the bottom half of the 5th. Well, the Troopers strike first. 3 runs on the power of 1 hit. 3 errors charged to the Hardhats. Nobody left on the base path. 5 innings out of 7 played, and the Hardhats find themselves in an unfamiliar position. Down 3-0 heading into the top of the 6th with the top of the order due up here on ESPN Rapid City and Hardhats-TV. Post 22 Hardhats baseball here on ESPN Rapid City is presented by Courtesy Subaru, by Shields, Qdoba Mexican Eats, Renewal by Anderson, Sicky's Garage Burgers and Brews, the Mustang Disaster Cleanup, and the Man Salon. Post 22 and a bit of a disaster in that last bottom half of the 5th. Now down 3-0 to the Troopers. 3 runs on 2 hits with no errors in the field, and the Hardhats no runs on 3 hits with 3 errors. That all came in the bottom half of the 5th. Top of the order for the Hardhats to start off the top of the 6th. Todd Stevens showed bunt but pulled back and pitches upstairs for ball 1. Mark Benetti alongside you here on ESPN Rapid City. Stevens is 1 for 2 with a double in this game and looks at a called strike. 1-1 now. Stevens, Bachman, and Caldwell slated to hit here in the top half of the 6th. 1-1 from Boynt to Stevens. Pitch is swung on and missed. Foul tipped into the glove, 1-2. Boynt is looking for a 3rd strikeout. And the 1-2 to Stevens. Upstairs. 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Stevens, leading off the top of the 6th with the Hardhats trailing 3-0. 2-2 pitch. Low and away, and the count goes full. Big payoff pitch to start off this top half of the 6th. Hardhats can't tie it if they don't get base runners. Payoff pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. And there's strikeout number 3 for Boynt. One up, one down for the Hardhats now brings us to Ryan Bachman, the third baseman, who's 0 for 2. Bachman has popped out to second and flown out to left. First pitch. Breaking ball missed low and away. 1-0 now to Bachman. Hardhats down 3-0 with an empty base path and one out here in the top of the sixth for Bachman. And his 1-0 pitch. Called strike. Fastball inside corner at the knees. It's 1-1. Jace Caldwell patiently waits on deck. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Called strike. Fastball at the knees. Bachman thought about it, followed it in. 1-2, excuse me. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Bachman. Got to look for Bachman to protect here. 1-2 pitch. Too far inside. Count evens up at 2-2. Bachman in game 1 went 2 for 3 with a pair of singles, 2 runs scored, and a run knocked in. 2-2. Just missed low and away. And the count goes full at 3-2. And here comes the payoff to Bachman. Pitch is swung on, ball's flared high in the air to right field, and the ball goes past the right fielder, Keller, and all the way to the warning track. Bachman is at second, and he's going to hang on with a 1-out double. Hardhats need hits, and there he comes in the clutch, dealing a 1-out, 2-bagger. And that'll bring up Jace Caldwell with a chance to knock Bachman in for the first run of the ball game for the Hardhats. Post 22 trails 3-0 with 1 out and a man in scoring position here in the top of the sixth. Caldwell on the ball game is 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out to short. Point looks to Bachman at second. First pitch. Swung on, ball's hit high in the air to left. Coming from center is Brewer. He makes the catch for out number 2. First pitch retires Caldwell for the second out of the inning. And that'll bring us to Zach Sumption, the right fielder. Sumption's fresh off of a double himself. The Hardhats have 4 hits in this ball game, and 3 of them are doubles. Stevens has 1, Bachman has 1, Sumption has 1. The only non-double was a 2-out single from Messenger back in the third. 70th pitch from Boynt, first Sumption. Too far inside, 1-0. That was a low fastball. Sumption with Bachman on second. 2 outs here in the top of the sixth. The Hardhats need to at least get him across. Here's a 1-0. Pitch is swung on, chop foul, third base side. And the count evens at 1-1. Post 22 in a rare spot, today at least. They won game 1 of the doubleheader 10-4. They are 3-0 head-to-head against the Troopers this year, and that is in jeopardy right now. Ball and a strike, the count to Sumption. 2 outs, a man on second, top of the sixth. 1-1 is fouled. He just got under it. And it went right to the meshing behind home plate, 1-2. 3-0 is the Troopers' lead. Sumption with a base hit can make it 3-1. Here's the 1-2 from Boynt. Pitch is swung on, hit high in the air, foul territory, first base side, and it goes out of play. Count will hold at 1-2. Ball and 2 strikes, the count to Sumption. And stepping off the rubber now is Boynt. He'll take some time to think about it. 1-2 the count. Boynt looks to Bachman. 1-2 pitch. High and inside, 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes as Boynt is looking for that 4th strikeout to end this Hardhats threat. 2-2. Misses low. Sumption didn't go. He checked his swing. Count goes full. If Sumption keeps the inning going, Holden Jackson's on deck. Boynt from the stretch. Payoff, caught him looking, strike 3. Strikeout number 4 for Boynt, and that ends the Hardhats' threat. No runs, a hit, no errors. One man left on the base path in scoring position. We played 5.5 innings of baseball, and the Hardhats still trail the Troopers 3-0. I'll be right back with the bottom of the 6th, and Quinn McCafferty to lead off for the Troopers here on ESPN Rapid City and Hardhats-TV. Post 22 back to work, as looks like taking the mound for the Hardhats is Jack Sorensen now. He takes over for Isaac Arnold, who went the first 5 innings of the ball game. He allowed 3 hits and 3 runs, only one of which was earned in his Hardhats debut. He also struck out 3 on 76 pitches, and he hit 2 batters as well, and issued 1 walk in his Hardhats debut. Unfortunate for Arnold, because he put together a pretty decent performance. You can't blame him for much of anything. Granted, he had one of the errors that was committed in that monstrous bottom of the 5th, but he had no help, really. And now Jack Sorensen takes over for the Hardhats and throws the first pitch to McCafferty. That's fouled back behind home plate. He starts off 0-1. Jack Sorensen deals the next pitch strike, and he's ahead 0-2. 12 2/3 innings of work under his belt, 10th appearance of the year, all in relief. 0-2 misses low, ball and 2 strikes the count. 2-2 on the season, 1-1 save opportunities as well. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and the pitch is a breaking ball too far inside, 2-2. 11 strikeouts to 14 walks on the year, 7 hit batsmen, and a 6.63 ERA. 2-2, pitch is swung on, hit to short. Hartford on the high hop, throw to first in time. Out number 1. That ball took a crazy hop there on Hartford, but he made a good stop. 1 up, 1 down for the Hardhats on defense now brings us to Luke Keller. Keller took over for Justice Reese, who unfortunately went to the emergency room after he took a hit by pitch to the back. Hopefully he's all right. Keller reached on a fielder's choice and looks at a first pitch ball low and away. 1-0. From Sorensen. Swung on, ball's fouled. Right to the Sheridan dugout. Third base side. Ball and a strike now from Sorensen to Keller. Sorensen from the stretch. 1-1 is a fastball up high. 2 balls and a strike. And the 2-1 misses low and away. It's 3 balls and a strike. Empty base path here for Keller with 1 out in the bottom of the 6th. Potentially the last offensive outs for the Troopers if the Hardhats don't score 3 or more in the top of the 7th. And the 3-1 goes low and away for ball 4. So Sorensen issues a walk. And that's now going to bring up Austin Borzinski. Borzinski's 0 for 2 with a ground out right to the mound and a strikeout. The second of 3 issued by Arnold in his first career start. First pitch nearly hit him. 1-0. Sorensen's got to find some control here. With one out and a man on, double play can really get him out of it. Here's a 1-0. Called strike. Fastball inside corner. It's 1-1. Keller leads off at first. There's the 1-1. Missed too far inside. Stevens a throw to first. Not there in time. 2 balls and a strike now to Borzinski. 1 out in the bottom of the 6th. The Hardhats trail 3-0. They're looking to keep that deficit intact. 3 runs on a hit, 3 errors. Knocked in the runs in the bottom of the 5th for the Troopers. It was a 0-0 ball game all the way up to that point. Sorensen takes a look to first. Here's his 2-1 pitch. That misses low. Nice block there from McGuire. And it's 3 balls and a strike. Sorensen is in jeopardy of dealing back-to-back walks here with 1 out in the bottom of the 6th. His team already trailing 3-0. 3-1 pitch. Hits him. And Borzinski is going to take first. Keller advances to second. Tough go here for Sorensen as that brings up Jaron Brewer. Brewer's 1 for 2 with a single and a run scored.
Now batting the center fielder, number 20, Jaron Brewer.
Brewer able to score on a 3-base error. Here's his first pitch. Pitch is swung on, ripped, just foul. Down the first base line, 0-1. That was just out of Caldwell's reach, too, so if that was a fair ball, that could have been more damage dealt for the Troopers. No balls and a strike the count here to Brewer. Sorensen with men on first and second around him. Sorensen looks to second from the stretch. 0-1 pitch. Swung on. Ball's hit to third. Bachman the stop. To second for 1. To first for 2. And the throw is not there in time. So Brewer safe on the 5-4 fielder's choice. Keller advances to third. Big second out here for the Hardhats. It's men on the corners, and Kellen Mentok, potentially the last offensive out for the Troopers, comes up. Mentok 0 for 2 with a ground out, reached on one of those colossal errors in the 5th. He was also hit by a pitch. He looks at strike 1, a fastball at the knees. 0-1. Mentok with men 90 feet to his left and right. First and third, 2 outs, bottom of the 6th. 0-1, swung on, ripped foul down the first base line, and it's 0-2. If Sorensen gets out of this, Jackson, Messer, and Hartford are scheduled to hit, barring any substitutions for Coach Torvey. There's the 0-2. Breaking ball hit him right on the helmet. And on no balls and 2 strikes, Sorensen issues a hit by pitch. And now Eric Taylor comes up with every base occupied and 2 outs. Hardhats were 1 strike away from getting out of the inning. Just can't catch a break. Taylor 0 for 3. Reached on one of those big errors in the 5th and came around to score. He is the 3rd and final Troopers run scored. Sorensen has hit 2 batters and walked 1 in this inning in relief. 20 pitches already rung up. First pitch misses low, 1-0. Bases loaded, bottom of the 6th, 2 outs. 3-0 the Troopers lead. Solid hit here, and they could really blow this one wide open. 1-0 misses low and inside. 2 balls, no strikes. There is nowhere to put Taylor, so if he walks, that'll knock in a 4th run. Hardhats trying to keep this 3-0 with the final inning of regulation coming up momentarily. 2-0, skips low. McGuire with the stop. 3 balls, no strikes to Taylor. There is action in the Hard Hat bullpen. Three balls, no strikes. Pitch. Called strike. Fastball inside corner at the knees. It's 3-1. Sorensen trying to get out. 3-1, a called strike. Fastball inside corner, and now the count goes full. Most important pitch of the ball game about to come right here. 3-2, 2 outs, bottom of the 6th, bases loaded, Hard Hats down by 3. Payoff pitch is inside, ball 4. That'll be an RBI walk. Mentok advances to second. Keller comes in to score. Brewer to third, and it's now a 4-0 Trooper lead. Race Johnston, high in the air to left. Coming in from left is Stevenson. He can't make the catch, and then he collides with Messer in center. Messer's down. Stevens comes into field. Everybody's going to come in and score, and the throw to third gets by Bachman. A bases clearing RBI triple, and it's now 7-0. The Troopers are running away. Both went into each other, and now Ransom comes storming out to center field to take a look at Messer. And Coach Dorvey comes out as well. Unfortunate sequence of events here for on one hit. Sorensen has walked 2. He's hit 2. And now they're looking at Drew Messer out there at center. 7-0 now the Troopers lead. So if the Hard Hats have any chance of coming back in the 7th, they've got their work cut out for them. Messer and Stevens collided on that most recent hit by Race Johnston, which cleared the bases, a triple. And now just waiting to see if Messer's going to keep going. Ransom doing some field testing to make sure that he's all right. And it looks like he might tough it out. Yep, looks like he's going to tough it out. So Messer is going to stay in the ball game, as will Stevens. Stevens looked like he was virtually unaffected. And Messer seems to be all right. So now it's a man on third, still with 2 outs. A huge rally here for the Troopers. Jacob Boynt now comes up. And his Troopers club up massively 7-0. Fans, don't forget about dining on the Diamond on July 9th, our annual pasta dinner where the players get to serve you what's an awesome pasta dinner at the Fitz. You should all come out. You can't say no to a pasta dinner, at least in my mind you can't. Boynt looks at ball 1 inside on a fastball. 1-0 the count from Sorensen. Sorensen 2 pitches away from 30 in this relief appearance. Next pitch to Boynt, hit high in the air to left center. Messer's going to watch it drop in front of him, and that'll knock in another run. A 2-out RBI single for Boynt. And now that makes it 8-0. The Troopers have the lead. And the Troopers have officially batted through the lineup in this inning. Aiden Roush comes up 0 for 3 with a backwards K. 30th pitch from Sorensen, and it's hit right back up the middle. It takes a bounce. Here comes Messenger, fielding for it. Throw to first in time, and that will end the bleeding for the Hard Hats. 5 runs scored on 2 hits. No errors charged to the Hard Hats, and 1 man left on first. We have played 6 innings of baseball, and the Hard Hats have the work cut out for them, trailing 8-0 in the final inning of regulation. We'll take a step aside, folks, and when we return, barring any substitutions, Holden Jackson, Drew Messer, and Colton Hartford are slated to hit here on ESPN Rapid City and Hardhats-TV. Taylor, two different ball games for the Hard Hats. In the top half now of the 7th inning, Game 2 of their doubleheader against the Sheridan Troopers. Post 22 took the win in Game 1. 10-4 on 14 hits, just a pair of errors in the field. Finished the game in less than 2 hours. And in this case, they're nearing an hour and a half here in the top of the 7th. And they're getting rocked 8-0 right now. Olden Jackson, Drew Messer, Colton Hartford scheduled to hit barring any substitutions against Jacob Boynt, who is trying to go for the complete game shutout. And his first pitch to Jackson misses low and away, 1-0. Jackson 0 for 2 with a line out and a pop out to second. Next pitch swung on, ball's hit right up the middle and into center, past McCafferty for a base hit. Jackson leads off the top of the 7th with a single. Hard Hats are down 8-0 here as we come to the top of the 7th. Jackson on with the leadoff hit brings up Drew Messer, who's also looking for his first hit. Middle infield at double play depth. Jackson leads off a first. First pitch to Messer. Called strike. Fastball inside corner. 0-1. No balls and a strike. And the 0-1 pitch. Swung on, ball is hit to second. Stop is made by Taylor. To second for 1, to first for 2. Got it! Just at the last second. A 4-6-3 double play. And now the Hard Hats are on life support. And that'll bring up Colton Hartford. First pitch to Hartford. Check swing, and they're saying he went. 0-1. Hartford 0 for 2, making his Hard Hats debut. 0-1 pitch. Swung on, ball's fouled, and now the Hard Hats are down to their last strike. Down 0-2. Hard Hats will begin firecracker play on Friday night against the Missoula Mavericks following this game. 0-2 to Hartford is fouled over our press box. All games in the Firecracker except the championship games are 9 innings. And the Hard Hats will get the 7 o'clock game and the home side every game of the tournament. 0-2 pitch. Swung on. Ball's hit to second. Taylor gets the scoop between his legs. Throw to first in time. And Jacob Boynt has completed a 7-inning complete game shutout. No runs, a hit, no errors, and nobody left for the Hard Hats in the 7th. As the Troopers and the Hard Hats split their doubleheader. Like I mentioned, a tale of completely different baseball games. 8-0, the Troopers get the win over the Hard Hats. Post 22 finished with 5 hits and 3 costly errors in the 5th. And the Troopers finished with 8 runs on 5 hits with no errors. And the game finished in 1 hour and 24 minutes. Well, that'll do it for our game broadcast tonight, folks. We'll take a step aside. We'll come right back, and we'll set the table for the Firecracker as well here in just a few moments on ESPN Rapid City and Hardhats-TV after the Hard Hats split a doubleheader with the Sheridan Troopers. Post 22 Hard Hats Baseball here on ESPN Rapid City is presented by Courtesy Subaru, by Shields, Qdoba Mexican Eats, Renewal by Anderson, Sicky's Garage Burgers and Brews, the Mustang Disaster Cleanup, and the Man Salon. Post 22 drops Game 2 of the doubleheader by a final score of 8-0 to the Sheridan Troopers, so they will take a split back with them on the bus as we head home to Rapid City tonight. First game, the Hard Hats dominated pretty much every facet. 10 runs on 14 hits, just 2 errors in the field. So the Troopers 4 runs on 7 hits and an error. Troy Wilhelm made the start, his Hardhats debut on the mound, getting the call-up from the Expos. He went 4 innings and allowed 4 earned runs on 4 hits with a pair of strikeouts. Hit a batter as well on 71 pitches. Zach Sumption and Zach